Ladies and gentlemen, internet anomalies, what is happening? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. And if not, I hope that today's stream makes your day at least a little bit better. I'm coming to you live from the East Coast of the United States of America, and today we're going to be playing on the Bro SMP. It has taken me about an hour to get this running because you guys all know that my computer has been having trouble getting the realms to work lately, but finally we've been able to patch things up, been able to fix things. It's up and running again. There was some sort of resource error. I reloaded a resource on my computer and it looks like now the SMP is starting to work again. So we are back in this thing. The TTS is on, by the way, so if you guys want to send messages into the TTS, then I will be able to read them. But yeah, let's get this thing started. Yeah, I don't care about the sphere. Let me see here. Hey, we've got the Angry Canadian here in the chat. That's what's up. That's what's up. Nice to see you here.
At the Angry Canadian 1109 said in the chat, I'm doing the carnivore diet and 100 push-ups in a day.
Good for you, I guess.
Canadian 1109 said in the chat, hitting on recently single chicks LOL.
Didn't you say you were giving up on dating like 2 weeks ago? Here's the thing. I think you've got to be honest about where you're at with dating. If you've genuinely given up, that's fine. But if you know you're taking a break, that's different than retiring. So, and it's normal and healthy to take breaks, by the way. Nothing bad with that. Nothing bad about that at all.
At the Angry Canadian 1109 said in the chat, that was a joke.
Really? It's hard to like kind of understand how to engage with you. I'm trying, but it's hard to understand how to engage with you sometimes because a lot of times you'll say things that are oftentimes very dramatic, and then later you'll be like, "Oh, I was joking." So it's kind of hard to tell how genuine you are and aren't being. Man, I wish I had more cobble.
At the Angry Canadian 1109 said in the chat, I'm eating more meat in terms of diet composition though and 100 push-ups in a day.
Well, that's pretty good because in your video
said in the chat, so I'm basically Trump.
No, you're probably way more fit than Trump. From what I remember, you're a pretty lanky dude, so doing that will help beef you up. So that's pretty good, actually. It's pretty good. I'm gonna eat more food and try to get home. Oh man, serious. We're really doing this right now? We've got a creeper here. Just terrible.
At the Angry Canadian 1109 said in the chat, I'm actually 180 pounds LOL. I'm not that anorexic LOL.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Man, look at that farm. Once we get this thing running, this is going to be fantastic. Why does the water look translucent? See, I'm just hoping that creeper goes away. Yo, my shield broke. Man.
At the Angry Canadian 1109. Said in the chat. You're stuck.
Oh, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. You think I'm stuck? We'll give you the impression that I'm stuck. Is it the fact that I'm stuck here and I can't move anywhere? Huh. I wonder what it took for you to figure this out. Wow. Ingenious minds are here in the chat. but yes, to answer your question, I am stuck. And I don't have a bed to sleep in either. So I'm kind of just left here waiting for the sun to rise. Was it the moon? Maybe part of the issue was they upgraded the did they upgrade the better on bedrock? Because better on bedrock was what was glitching.
Angry Canadian 1109 said in the chat. Cause mobs are camping like you are Connor McDavid and you're giving them an autograph.
It is true. Oh hey! Great. I will say, you know, this mod is looking a little different. But the shaders look nicer, actually. A little more opinionated, I would say, but it's quite nice. Definitely noticing some changes. So I think that the changes, maybe you had to re-download the pack in order for everything to be fixed. Man, look at this. This is beautiful. Man, what the heck? What the heck? Oh, he wants to join the VC. Yeah, let me do that. I got to do that. Oh, it's not night time anymore. Yo, I am so sorry. I forgot to join the voice comms. Oh my goodness.
Sitting here for like 10 minutes waiting for you to join.
Oh my goodness, the whole setting screwed up my...
With my shaders.
And I made a burger. I made 2 burgers and ate them all.
Okay, hold on. Gotta fix the audio settings again.
It's gonna be underwater. This is a floating boat. We're only gonna play for probably about 10 more minutes and then we're gonna go watch Come On.
Okay. But I'm glad I was able to hop on and catch you guys. I was seriously thinking that I was not gonna be able to play. There we go. Okay, the audio should be fixed now. You guys can still hear me, right?
Quiet for us, but that's okay. I'm sure it sounds better on the stream. I'm just saying.
Hold on, wait a second.
Quieter. Hello? Are you muted? What happened?
You guys can hear me, right? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
No, the audio isn't working anymore. Hold on.
Yes, it is. I can hear you. Now we can hear you, right? You can hear us, right? You can hear us, right?
Services, hands-free telephone. I'm gonna turn it back on. and then turn it back off and see if it works. No, hold on. The sound isn't going to my headphones.
Can you not hear us?
Okay, hold on. Wait a second. Okay, hello. Can you hear me?
Hear us or not?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Say we can hear you.
Hold on. I'm gonna disconnect my earbuds and then reconnect them. There we go. Okay, hello. Okay, I think it's fixed. I can hear you guys now.
You can.
Yeah, look at this. Wait, so did Better on Bedrock get changed?
Said in
I
the
don't know,
chat.
but I'm pretty sure my
Be
visuals
playing
in
with
now.
his kids while
no,
I
is
chat
it?
with e-girls to mess
Oh no,
with
it's
them.
not. Well, I was playing myself, and they were doing, it was viral visuals for mods, which is pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. I took a picture. I'm gonna put it in the.
At the Angry Canadian.
Yeah, it looks absolutely crazy.
Said in the chat.
What? Only for you
I
because
can
you're
hear
single player.
no
It doesn't support
kids.
two player.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. So, Omar.
So you were looking at the stream and you saw how it looks.
I'm using Windows. It doesn't matter. You just love using your real names online. I'm going to make.
Yo, look at these shadows, bro.
Hey.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna make an underwater restaurant.
Ooh, okay. Where are you gonna? Whoa, okay. Where are you gonna build it?
Under my house.
Hey, as you should, as you should. Were you able to get the cows that you were looking for?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good, good, good.
We need to, or we need to at least be halfway through the season of Wednesday this week. Although I think we will be,
You might already be, actually, I think.
No, it's like one more episode and then I think we'll be halfway. So I think we're pretty close. But
Yeah.
wait, did you already see Wake Up Dead Man, or do you want to watch?
Yeah,
it?
I saw Wake Up Dead Man. But
Okay.
I would watch it again.
Canadian 1109. Said in the
I wonder
chat.
if we should get Macy to watch it with us, but
So
I don't know
are you
how
a
long.
single
I don't think
dad,
she's
or
gonna be
is
here that
there a
long.
wife in your life?
I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I don't think there's anything else that we're watching Netflix. Is there anything else that you have for us to watch on Netflix?
I still have my movies list. I don't know if you care about the movies on my list though.
I mean, you already have Rebel Moon though, so like.
True, I'll send you my list. Oh my goodness, I'll send you my list if you want it. But I don't know if you care about the movies on my list.
I feel like half of them you could just you could just buy. So.
I suppose, but I mean, I still have my mini series as well that I want to watch.
Well, I was only gonna get it for. I'm gonna pay the next month, but I don't think I want to like. I don't know. I don't want to pay for it that much anymore. I might get it back next summer or something. The series that I'm watching right now, like literally, I feel like it's one of the only things I got Netflix for, which is we're laughing out. It was for Wednesday and My Life with the Vulture Boys. If it comes back for another season, then I'll or shows. We're talking about shows. When if the other show that I'm watching comes back for another season next summer, then I'll get it like for that. But other than that,
In the summer?
I feel like what?
In the summer you'll get it?
Yeah, but only if my series comes back. If my series does not come back in the summer, then I'm just not gonna get it back.
Okay.
Also, I don't want to get it for winter again either. Like I don't know, I just don't like
Really?
it. It makes me really wants me to get it. And I get the second job, then I could probably get it again. But
Well, my miniseries, I mean, I've been enjoying watching my miniseries on it.
the thing is, there has to be enough like demand for it. There's no demand, that I'm just not gonna get it again.
That's true. I mean, I think I've been watching it consistently almost every night.
I think even Mary Alice told me that she has not been using it though. So
Really?
she was like, "Oh, there's not really much time watching on it right now," and I was like, "Okay, yeah." I mean, I was telling everyone that I'm only gonna pay
I mean,
for like,
it's-
probably about either one time or not at all.
I mean, it's literally been like the only thing I've been watching is Netflix.
I mean, that's fair. I feel like anytime we get like a service or something, then I just watch whatever's on there and then until I'm done. Like I already saw the last season of My Life with the Vulture Boys. I felt like after I was done
My Life with the Altar Boys?
My Life with the Vulture Boys. It's like
Oh.
it's like a romance It's one of those like YA.
Well, My Life with the Altar Boys sounded like romance as well. That's why I asked.
No, but I said the Walter Boys.
Okay. Okay.
It's like imagine the Summer I Turned Pretty, but they're on a farm and it's like country.
That also sounds like My Life with the Altar Boys.
Summer I Turned No, it's not the Altar Boys. Because I think it was their like kind of solution to like their rival to the Summer I Turned Pretty. Although I find the dynamics at least a little bit better than Amazon's show, which is like kind of thing.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Like I don't know. I feel like the way that some of the characters are done is like a little bit more realistic than.
Oh, well, that's good. If you had to pitch like My Life with the Walter Boys to a general audience, how would you pitch it? How would you say like, okay, here's why you should watch this show?
I mean, to the target audience, I would just say it's the Summer I Turned Pretty, but on a farm. Like that's the target audience is the people who watched. Because I feel like the people who watched the Summer I Turned Pretty has also watched.
Dude, this is so pretty. Dude, you've got to watch the stream. I don't always say this, but you've got to watch the stream. This is so pretty. This rain looks so heavy, it's crazy. But is there cheating and scamming and betrayal in My Life with the Walter Boys?
I mean, I mean, it's just like the regular drama, so I guess that ensues. Like, I feel like.
Is there a love triangle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's done a little bit better too than because I feel like I don't know. Just to me, I feel like they gave the characters a lot more depth than to the Summer I Turned Pretty.
But that's good.
Because in the Summer I Turned Pretty, it's like the characters will have one, like they'll be like one type and that's it. Like they'll be like
they're one-dimensional and they're stereotypes.
Yes. He's like, oh, I'm the brooding guy, and that's like kind of it. Like he doesn't.
That's funny.
He doesn't like really do anything else. But like one character, like one of the main love interests, he's like a jock, but then he's also like trying to find out what he wants to do because I think he was gonna go to college or he was gonna be like a sports guy or football guy or something.
Like an analyst?
So it's like
or player.
And now he's like, oh, what should I do? And then he's like, oh, maybe I like working on the farm or something like that. Maybe I like working at this place. Like he's trying to like figure out what he wants to do next. I completely forgot what happened to him last season.
That is cool. So is it a continuing series or is it a mini series?
I think it's a continuing series. It's just a regular series. I don't even leave. It has like a whole like I was like, it has like a whole like 20 episodes of it or something.
And do you know if it's been canceled or renewed for another season?
No, it got renewed for another season.
Oh, good, cool. Well,
they're gonna let one of their most popular dramas die like that.
Wait, so is it actually popular? Like, is it something people are talking about and watching?
Yeah, Missy, you've heard of My Life with the Walter Boys, right? Yeah. It was a book series, so they have the book fans and they also have like the YA fans too. Although I have not read the books, but I heard that the books are okay. I heard they're okay. They're probably like better than Summer I Turned Pretty. Yeah, I watched.
That's cool.
Both seasons.
Well, all right, audience. If you've heard the description of My Life with the Walter Boys, let me know what you guys think. Check it out. If you think this is something you might be interested in. It's less lewd, right? I'm presuming. If you're watching it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It is. It's very
okay, yeah. So that's another differentiating factor. Yeah, check it out.
I feel like it's more of like a family show.
Nice. Okay, if you're asexual, go check out My Life with the Walter Boys. Yeah, I know. I jest. It is objectively good to have shows that are family friendly. So yeah.
I would say if in the second season the gay character didn't have such a main storyline, then I would have let like the little kids watch it with me.
I see.
Like that's how family friendly it is, and there's not like that much cursing in it too. If you watch Summer I Turned Pretty, it's like every single line the character says has like an F-bomb in it.
Wait, so what's it rated?
The Summer I Turned Pretty?
No, Life with the Walter Boys.
No, it's TV-14 or TV-PG. Some episodes are TV-14, I'm sure, but it's TV-PG. But if you watch The Sunrise from Pretty, it's like Amazon's ratings are like 16 plus, 18 plus, and like 7 plus, and like 13 plus. So it's like I think it's 16 plus, but it's also listed as CVMA untracked. So it just like
I see. So it's not only family friendly, it's not only better, but it's also family friendly.
Yes.
But it's also that's a nice touch. Is it something that you would watch with mom?
Yes.
That would.
She probably would not. The thing is, the whole like gay sex.
Yes, but the
whole, like, gay storyline in the second season, I think she would not be able to do. So she would probably like. That would probably be like the last word.
Fair, but the mom test is good. It's good if it's like, oh, like this is something that mom could get through. Then I feel like that's a mark of general family friendliness.
I feel like she would have watched an episode with me, commented how bad it was, but would have seen the whole thing with me. Like watch the whole episode with me. Like she'll be watching and be like, oh, it's so cheesy, but like also like watching like.
Oh yeah, like me with When Calls the Heart when you guys were watching that. Bro, the way I got so disappointed when I realized that the point of the movie, or the point of the Hallmark series called When Calls the Heart, was not to figure out who was behind the like massive disaster that like killed all of the men in the mines in Canada. Oh, that was true heartbreak.
Wait,
do they ever figure? Did they ever get to the bottom of what caused the mine disaster? By the way.
I don't know if it's still going or not.
Oh no, it is. It is. I recently saw a box set. Yes, I recently saw a box set where it's like seasons like 1 through 19 of When Calls the Heart, and they're calling it like the ultimate collection or whatever because the series isn't done. They can't call it the complete series. So yeah, it's got like at least like 19 or 20 seasons. But did they ever get to the bottom of like who caused that?
I don't know.
Who
I thought
caused
the main guy like left
explosion?
something like that, so then they
Really?
couldn't like have a main laugh. That's what I thought. I don't know. I may be wrong. Yeah, I actually might be wrong about that, but I don't know. Like, don't quote me on that. I don't know.
Making my underground thing right now.
Yeah, in terms of shows, I'm just like, right now I'm watching are like international things. I think I'm starting to gravitate more towards international things because they're easier to watch and they are often like on cheaper streaming services than American shows.
Oh, I see. Does the CW have a streaming service?
Is it just the CW? I think they had the CW Seed, but I don't know if that's still around. I think CW Seed is probably discontinued. I feel like that's something that they'll
I would believe that. I don't
know if they sell their shows.
Wait. Can you watch the CW channel for free on their app?
I want to say you can. I really feel like you can.
Wait, you like you can't? You can or you can't? So what's up with all the lightning?
I think you can. I want to say you can.
But can't even move. What
are you trying to do? A crafting table. I can't build a crafting table.
You need to build a different one. You have wood.
Dude, what's up with all this lightning?
I don't even have wood. I don't even have wood. Why isn't it letting me make it? I'm trying to make it. Can a girl outlive? Christ.
You have the table to make a crafting table. Please, just go ahead.
Oh, the angry Canadian in the chat says, so are you a single dad or is there a wife in your life? You know, you keep on asking me this question so much, I'm just gonna say no comment because this is getting ridiculous.
Ew, why do they keep saying that?
He likes poking fun at me, to be fair. Like he says a lot of things in jest.
You're still in it.
Yes, because I'm trying to regular. I know, I'm trying to right now.
You should like it.
What do you mean? Oh my goodness, I'm doing it right now. There, it's made. Now you can leave me alone. What is wrong? Why is it glitching so much? This is kind of crazy.
Make the storm. Don't turn the storm off.
Yeah, please. It's making everything so slow.
Someone turn the storm off with the powers.
Like, what is even happening? What's wrong? World. Okay, guys, we have to. Oh yeah, we have to go. It's good time. We have to go.
Oh, you're going. All right. Peace out, y'all. Thanks for hopping on, and please wish me luck in future streams and getting this thing working. Yeah. It takes way too long.
It should start working now. Though.
Yeah, I do think so because I completely reloaded Better on Bedrock. So I think that's what was causing the issues.
It should be working out. But we have to go. We're gonna watch Gumball.
All right, have fun.
The new season is pretty good. It's pretty funny.
I've seen only like 6 episodes of like season 1 of the revival. I need to get back on the horse, but I've just been busy. I'm behind on Rick and Morty too. You know how much skill it takes to be behind the Rick and Morty? They only release 10 episodes per season.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like if I finished it, then I would be done in like a week.
Oh, no, you for sure. I think they only have like 80 or 90 episodes.
Yeah, that's funny. But I feel like it's crazy how many.
Only 80 or 90 episodes. Yeah.
What?
Only 80 or 90 episodes. Yeah.
Okay, not NCIS had like.
Dog has more than 1,000.
No, yeah.
Wait, did you watch all of NCIS?
No, I watched it from like season 15 or something. We're on like season 20. Season 21.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm pretty sure it's like 100 episodes or something like that. So like, it was only 100 episodes.
How does it compare to Blue Bloods? Blue Bloods is better, right?
I think even modern Blue Bloods is better.
Blue Bloods is pretty good as far as it comes to cop slop. When I watch episodes of Blue Bloods with you guys, I'm constantly surprised at how good it actually is, considering the genre and the era. Because most cop shows aren't that good.
Yeah. Although you would like Blue Lights, which I guess you could also technically classify it as cop slop, but I think it's pretty good.
I've never heard of Blue Lights.
It's the British show I was telling you about.
Oh.
They do a good job of showing both sides of like the people that live in Ireland, like both the police officers.
Why do you have a door open that says "Octo's mine, no pets allowed"?
It's probably Kenneth's or something.
Mine.
The door was wide open. The door was wide open.
Let's go.
You said you were talking to Warren.
No, I'm done now.
Oh, all right. Peace out, y'all.
I'm done now. He's talking.
What's up with all these creepers?
No. But Blue Lights is pretty good in like showing both sides of both the police and the people that live in Ireland.
Wait, the police don't live in Ireland? Why not?
Look at anime.
What?
Why don't the police live in Ireland?
No, I think both the police officers and the citizens who live in Ireland.
Oh, the citizens. Oh, you said and the people who live in Ireland. I was like, wait, the police don't live in Ireland? Oh, okay, I see.
But like, there's also the you could tell like the tension between the dissidents and like the leftover what are they called, like the IRA.
Oh.
Leftover militias, that's what they're called. Leftover like militias group. It's like anytime there's any encounter, you could like feel the tension because it's like you don't want the police.
Wait, is the IRA still active in
I don't
Ireland?
think it's still active, but there are still people. I think the show implies that there are still people that believe in what the IRA was trying to do.
Oh, but weren't they like a terrorist group?
Or like militia
Wait,
groups.
so how is that even legal? Because in America, you're not allowed to say you're affiliated or in support of a terrorist group or organization. Is that like actually how things are in Ireland, where like there are people actively in support of the terrorist group?
Please, you stop talking to me. What happened to my farm?
What happened to it? I don't know. How am I supposed to know? I told you to check everything because it seemed like stuff had gone missing, or like some data had been rolled back or something. Remember?
It just counts all the things outside of our.
Yeah, the food is invisible.
Wait, the food is invisible? Maybe you need to reload the resources as well.
Yeah, the food is invisible to us. Anyway,
You know what? When I first loaded in, it was supposed to be viral visuals, but everything got turned green for a few seconds, and then it had loaded and turned into viral visuals. It was actually crazy. I should look at this.
Oh, you should. Wait, didn't you take a picture already?
Not take a picture of viral
The one thing I don't understand is why is there haze inside the house? Like there shouldn't be fog inside the house. It looks like I just took a shower in here. Like seriously, if you tune into my stream, like I'm inside like the first floor of my house. It literally looks like I just took a shower.
we have to go now. Goodbye.
What am I supposed to do? Don't shout at me.
Wait, I see it. I just want to touch down so I can see the viral visuals.
Isn't it cool?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, there is a lot of me.
Wait, actually, let me go back out. You would think
Anyway,
you would think inside buildings it wouldn't be like that.
anyway, they're like gangs and stuff. Gangs. I don't know if it's directly the IRA, but it's implied that there are some like people who just like militia groups. That there, and then so like there'll be like sections of the town that's like it's out of bounds, and then there'll be some like super dangerous sections that are like double out of bounds. Like you can't go there at all because like some police officers may not even come to help you because like you're not even supposed to be over there.
That's
It's
crazy.
so dangerous.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's quite a good show though. I think it won a BAFTA award. I think it won a BAFTA award. I think it.
Wait, so is
it won,
BAFTA
like,
your
one
favorite
award.
awards show? The
It was
BAFTAs?
nominated. No, it's interesting because it's international.
You like all the British ones.
Yeah.
Did you
I
hear
think
about the Golden Globe nominations? I was like, what? Bro, I'm American. What are you talking about?
the Golden Globe.
Literally, you're like...
What even is that?
Is it the Golden Globe Awards?
Yeah, it's just crazy.
It is crazy.
Yo, oh my goodness! Look! If you look to the sun,
But I'm pretty sure Adolescence won a BAFTA store. So it's like I feel like it's like the shows that are actually good are the ones that actually get like that. Because I feel like the American award shows we basically will nominate literally anything. But I feel like for the BAFTAs at least they like try to have some good shows in there.
Yeah, I think I do think there's some truth to that. Wait. So King Corn, with what I'm seeing here, is this part of the mod or is this vibrant visuals?
it's not originals.
So it's built into Minecraft.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That explains why everything looks so different.
This is
So Better on Bedrock has nothing to do with the change in shaders.
I know.
Come on. Okay, we're gonna go watch them all now.
That's cool. I'll look up more information about vibrant visuals at some point. This is neat.
Yeah. Hopefully next weekend we'll have more time to play. But I'm also trying to like start getting my sleep back to regular. So I'm gonna I'm starting to go.
Your sleep isn't regular?
No, it was terrible.
Oh.
But I also doesn't help that I have a cold now, so I get up in the middle of the night coughing. That doesn't help either.
Yeah,
But,
you should stop doing
I
that.
mean- okay, I can't control it. I have a cold. by the time that spring comes around, my sleep will probably be better though. So, because whenever we gain, are we losing an hour or gaining an hour?
I don't remember. I just look at the clock when I wake up, man.
Whenever we gain an hour, I always get better sleep. But I also like how like the time is during the winter because we have more dark out. So like when we go finish seeing a movie, it'll be like 8 or 9 o'clock and it looks super, or it'll be like 7 o'clock and it looks super dark outside, and I'm like, it's like 8 or 9 o'clock, but it's actually not. It's only 7 o'clock. Because then you're like, we still have more time. Because like it'll feel like 10 o'clock, and then you look at the clock, it's actually 8 o'clock, and then you're like, we still have more time in the night. Like, it's much better. But
dude, these shadows are so cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some pictures of my farm.
let's go watch. Come on now.
Let's go. Come on.
So real quick, King Corn, real quick. The goal of the height for this building, you may have been wondering how big is this building going to be. This building is going to be so tall that it will be taller than the goal of it is to make it be so tall that it's taller than the trees on the top of that mountain.
Okay, I'm gonna put some things in realm stories and leave. That's a crazy,
But that's pretty cool.
Wait, why am I saying it?
Yeah, because if I do that, then you'll, even if you're at the very top, there'll probably be like a balcony or something, or a rooftop. You will not be able to get shot at by skeletons, hopefully. But this whole thing is supposed to be it's supposed to be enclosed. So I'm gonna make the whole building eventually wrap around and then extend all the way over to the shore, so you can get to it from the shore. Because there's a shore nearby. There's a shore nearby that has like a farm and stuff that I built, like a small farm, like a ram farm. So yeah.
Did you see his doors?
Not yet, but I can check in to see.
At night with the mobs, it'll be fun to Okay, I love to be in your tower, because then you can just see them and you like they can't shoot you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, we're leaving now.
All right, peace out.
Nice.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drop off the squad comms for the voice chat, and I'm gonna go to the main voice comms in my Discord server. So let me see here. I'm gonna go into the bread party. I think that if you're in the bread gang, you should be able to join that. So if you want to hop onto the stream and chat with me, go into the Discord and ask me whatever questions you've got or whatever. But I will say I myself will probably not be on the realm for too much longer because I do want to record some political segments. Because there was the whole stuff with Vivek Ramaswamy I wanted to talk about. You know what? Well, I'm here. I should cut down more of these trees. All right, hopefully this all starts falling apart. Oh, yeah, I'm hoping that does the trick. What's over there? I don't remember going over there. Oh, nothing. That's cool. Dude, I cannot emphasize enough how cool this looks. Bro, I'm blocking out moonlight. This is ridiculous. Yo, you got the oh my goodness. This is off the hook. And the thing is, this is not made like once the game actually loads, the game actually doesn't load any worse than it loaded before. Like I've tried third-party shaders on Java, and they do have some level of hurting the performance of the game. Not the case with this. The one thing I wish is that water was not nearly as translucent. Because it's pretty translucent now. I don't think I need birch, do I? No, I don't need birch. Bro, I'm gonna print money. Watch this, bro. Watch this. Bro, man, I'm gonna have so many bands, it's gonna be crazy. Dude, I'm gonna sell this dude so many sticks, he's gonna stop asking me to give him sticks. Oh, there we go. There's a bit of that. Finally, we got a bit of lag. I wasn't asking or looking for lag, but thought I would have gotten more by now, but it's fine. Oh, I've got enough for another stack. Enough room for another stack. Where can I put this? Dude, look at this. This is absurd. I want to see like how long it's gonna take for Villager to be like enough with this foolishness. Actually, you know what? These guys are all sleeping. I should probably sleep too then. We are on day 147, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, look at this view. Why are there zombies? You gotta be kidding me. See, I thought I fixed this. Well, nothing. I mean, it's very rare that things are perfect. Hey, I've got something to sell you. I got some more things to sell you. Hey. Got some more things to sell you. Hey, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Got some more things to sell you. Here we go. Bro. You'll never guess, bro. You'll never guess. I've got some more things to sell you. All right, and then on top of that, I've got this to sell you as well. Boom. You looking for this? All right, then check this. Check it. He got tired of it. Is he getting pushed back by a bird? He got pushed back by a sparrow. That's hilarious. Okay. Those guys charging steep prices. I don't know why. Dude, this bro's a scammer. Good thing I'm rich with sticks. To the point where I don't care. Okay, I finally ran out of sticks. So I got 35 now. It more than doubled my wealth. Doubled my wealth. That's crazy. Okay. And I'm gonna buy some bread. All right, let's see. All right, boom. Have kids now. There we go. All right, so they're gonna have kids. Are they trading bread with each other? It's interesting. Okay, so they're gonna have kids. And I'm gonna have 29 emeralds and 18 bread, which I think is definitely more than enough. What in the world? Why is a creeper over there? Did they change how hostile mobs spawn? Actually, I'm gonna do a little test here to see if this thing can actually get inside the village. Because if it can't, then my fence is a success. Or maybe I shouldn't test it. You know what? This might not be the time to test it. Because at this point, I just want I just want to end the Minecraft segment on this. So, here we go. we've got this. Let me turn off the HUD. Bro, look at this. Dude, if Louis Armstrong was still alive today, he would say, "What a wonderful world." Dude, look at this. This is so cool. Those shadows, the lighting, it's immaculate. It's immaculate to the point of absurdity. Amazing, fantastic, splendid. But anyways, that's all I got for the Minecraft gaming. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in. My keyboard just stopped working. Ridiculous. It's not really been my day. I could have been playing for like an hour more than I ended up playing. But I needed to reload better on Bedrock. You guys saw the big picture, right? In the Discord server, that was crazy. You know what? Before I wrap things up, I do need to check out the what's it called? The story that King Corn was talking about. Let's see. Okay, good. It's working. It's wireless. Keyboard. Alright, I'm gonna check these stories. As soon as I got back, it lost connection again. Oh, there we go. Okay. Why is this keyboard so finicky? Here we go. Realm stories. I got 4 unread. Okay, so we've got this. We've got a bunch of blank stories. Bro has a story. Has hold on, I don't know what's going on with this. I mean, why is this not the keyboard's barely working? Okay, here. Bro's a story to tell, but nothing to say. Okay, there we go. Because look, it's literally empty. It's literally empty. What am I supposed to do with this? Oh, hold on. It loaded. I'm gonna delete that comment. I'm embarrassed now. What is this? So, look at this high-res photo. Look at this, dude. This is amazing. Bro, look at this. Look at this. It's incredible. Oh, this picture loaded. Woo! That's ridiculous. Let's see, what's this? Ah, yo! Dude, the way that the sun is peeking through the trees, that's something. That's really something to behold. And look at this. Is this not gorgeous? Is this not pleasant? Is this not fair? This is everything you ask for in Minecraft visuals and more. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. There we go. All right. Yeah, I'll quit Minecraft. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and find some stories to react to. I know there were some videos that I wanted to cover. Here, hold on, there we go. I'll go ahead and disconnect. Okay, I've wanted to react to this for a while. Okay, I've wanted to react to this for a while. I've never had the time to get. I never had the time to get around to it until now. So I'm sure you guys all know that Nick Fuentes is a rabid racist and anti-Semite, also authoritarian. I believe communist or socialist. He's not. I don't know if he's necessarily capitalist. And you know, he's been very problematic. He's been growing in the right wing. I've talked about him a bit on my channels, but I did want to react to this compilation of Nick Fuentes being racist, authoritarian, and extremely problematic because some people, first of all, he likes to present himself as being a lot more harmless than he truly is. And I take issue with that. I take umbrage with that because he's being deceptive to his audience. For years, he's been telling people to, you know, be racist, to, you know, that he supports Hitler, Nazism, and all of that. And, you know, those people are starting to be in positions of power now, right? We saw that sort of exposed with the whole group chat scandal. And now he's acting like he's some just like normal middle of the road right-wing conservative. No, that's not true. And I think that this compilation, compiled by Roan, I believe, which I remember from when he was collabing with Destiny, I believe. So I think this should be fruitful.
We're saying, hey, we want a Christian government. We want a Christian government. We want a majority white country. We want nationalism. We're okay with authoritarianism. We're not ideological. These are the things we want. And
by the way, I mean, not me. I don't know why I have to say not me. Because no one would ever mistake me. No one with a thinking mind and critical thinking skills would ever confuse me with a supporter of Nick Fuentes. I'm barely a supporter of Donald Trump, if that. I mean, I support Trump on many issues and things, but at the end of the day, I do think that, you know, his second term has not been nearly as good as his first. But so that definitely puts me miles away from wherever the heck Nick Fuentes is right now.
We're going to call out people that are betraying those things. We're going to call out the phonies that pretend to represent those things. We're like the immovable right-wing force in politics.
But that's why we need dictatorship. That's unironically why we need to get rid of all that. We need to take control of the media or take control of the government and force the people to believe what we believe.
So he's, whoa, that's insane. That's actually insane. So he wants to get rid of free speech, control the media, and force people to believe you can't force people to be Christians. That's not how Christianity works. And that's the key reason why I oppose a Christian state. A Christian state, I think, would be perfect if everyone in that society was Christian. But they're not, right? Christians huddling together and making a circle with Christian rules. No, that's all fine and dandy, but that doesn't work in a government where you have, for example, children who have Christian parents but might not end up being Christian themselves. That's not fair, or accurate, or true, or right, or just. You know. So a church is what you're looking for. If you're looking for a group of people together to come together as Christians and make some Christian rules for themselves, you're looking for a church. Or heaven, but you're not looking for a kingdom on earth. Look, when Jesus was here on earth, he didn't say, oh yeah, bro, I'm king. Let me make a Christian nation and rule over everybody. He could have died on the cross for our sins, come back to life, and then done that. But he didn't. Why? He said his kingdom is not of this world. It's not. And so when we try to make a Christian nation, that kingdom is going to be our kingdom. It's not going to be God's kingdom. And the kingdoms of men always fall. So, you know, Nick Fuentes can think that he's, you know, being righteous or whatever, but these sorts of efforts are always doomed to either fail or end up in dystopian totalitarian states that are ironically hellholes.
Or force them to play by our rules and reshape the society. This is why it's Christian nationalism. We need a government of Christians. Tell me why we need people in government that don't serve Jesus Christ. Is that the argument? Well, here, Nick, here's why we need Jewish people in government that don't serve Jesus. Sorry, you're never going to win that argument. And Jewish people can be here, but they can't make our laws. We have got
Wait. He contradicted himself, right? Because he says he wants a Christian nation with only Christians, and he wants to force them to believe what they believe. But then he says that he doesn't want Jewish people in government, but he wants them to be citizens. Now, maybe he's saying Jewish by ethnicity, not by religion. If he's saying Jewish by ethnicity, then I understand. It would be, a thing where it's all about the beliefs and not necessarily the heritage. Although I think that's something he genuinely believes either.
Talk about the fundamentals of our worldview and what it would look like to build a society based on our distinct worldview. It looks like a society where women don't have the right to vote, and it looks like a society where boys and girls get married as teenagers and start having kids, and they don't use birth control, and they don't use contraceptives, and they have big families and a high birth rate, and it looks like women wearing veils at church, and it
Well, I mean, I am astounded that I even agree with him on one thing, which is like, got people maybe 17, but preferably 18, 19 years old getting married at that age rather than what's the average age of marriage now, 30? And having children, I think that'd be preferable. Now, I think that some forms of birth control are fair. Some forms of contraceptives are fair. Anything that doesn't cause an abortion, I think, is within the bounds of what should be permissible. And arguably, it's between, the people in the marriage to figure out how much birth control you use or whatever. But I do think that, it is good to have a high birth rate. It is good for people to get married younger rather than wasting years getting heartbroken and then waiting so long to have children that they can only have one or two. I don't, even if they want more, right? I just don't think that that's optimal. And let's say you only want one or two children. You can get married at 19, have those kids, and then they'll be out of the house by the time you're 50. And then when you're ready to retire, then you can go kayaking or do all the other things that you want to do. So it's like a win-win, I feel like, for getting married younger so long as you are getting married to the right person. But all the other stuff that he was talking about was wrong. What was he saying? He said women not having the right to vote. It's wrong. The having big families was fine. I think it's fair to use contraceptives or whatever, but having big families is fine. Women wear veils at churches. That's actually a rather surprisingly contentious theological belief. I'm not going to wade into that right now, but I will say it's not as cut and dry as being like, all women should just be wearing veils at church, because there've been some relatively nuanced interpretations of scriptures that lean in that direction. So I'll just say, check out some Bible commentaries, check out some YouTube videos from highly reputable theologians on that topic, rather than Nick Fuentes, of course.
Looks like women not being in the workforce. So that means
women should be not in the workforce. I do think that there are too many incentives for women to be in the workforce. Like, for example, the way that the housing structure is set up, for example, it makes it so that if you are in if you're in a household with two people, male, female, it is way more things are priced so that it's way more livable to have both people in that union working rather than one person working and one person staying at home. That's like the big thing. We need to make it back so that if you are by yourself, it's as livable for you to be able to work, have one job, and provide for your family as it is to have two parents in the home. It should be to the point where you can have two parents in the home. They both can be working, but one person's income goes towards the home and and the other spouse works, and you can use that money for other things, and let's say one person loses the job, the other person can still provide for the family, give the family everything that they need, and pay for the housing. No, you can't do that in every part of America anymore. So there are some incentives that need to be changed. I do think women need to be allowed to work in the workforce, because women should always have that option to work in the workforce. What if you're married and you still want to work to have that extra income? Fair. What if you are, farther along in your career than your husband, for example, and you want to work outside the home just to, get the family the most money possible and still have someone at home with the children or whatever? Then women should be allowed to do that. Single women, certainly should be working. So this idea that women should not be in the workforce at all is a little bit absurd. I don't know what he expects single women to do, especially single women who don't have parents in their lives anymore, or relatives who can take care of them. Like, you can't just go find a husband that doesn't work.
Banning gay marriage is back on the menu. Banning sodomy is back on the menu. Banning contraceptives is back on the menu.
Not the contraceptives. I will say I would never advocate for the two prior things that he mentioned. Large part because, especially on the second, there's some invasion of privacy concerns there. But I will say, as a Christian, there are certain rules that people are proposing where it's like, if you make this illegal, I'm not really going to be that upset about it, right? I do think that people need to tread carefully, and I may give some pushback, but if gay marriage is banned, am I going to cry? No, I'm not. I think that it's fair to be like, and I still think that it's the position that America is a secular society, so it makes sense for secular institutions such as gay marriage to be legal. Like I've sort of accepted that it makes sense for it to exist. But if you ban it, bro, I'm chilling. Like, what do you expect me to say? I'm a Christian. So I don't support it on a personal level and a religious level. If push comes to shove and you're like, oh, support this or support that, I will say, I'll support the side that gives you the most freedom. I probably wouldn't side with the people who actually want to ban gay marriage, but I'm not gonna push too hard against it.
We're having something like Taliban rule in America in a good way. We're having something like a Catholic Taliban rule in America. No, man, if Antifa were marching down the streets and they were waving the banner of Benito Mussolini or Francisco Franco, I'd be joining them. Oh, yeah? Well, fuck the UN and the internet and democracy, okay? What do you think about that? You know what democracy is?
Whoa, so he hates democracy. Now, the one thing that's interesting about the whole Mussolini thing is that it shows his true colors. Nick Fuentes is okay with political violence if it's the side that he supports. And this is how it goes with a lot of people, especially the farther to the right or to the left that you get. Those people will always tell you that violence is bad. But then when the violence is in the favor of their political interests, they will always accept it. Well, maybe not always, but most of the time they will accept it. So you gotta be careful for people like this. Hypocrisy is very common because it's politically advantageous.
Okay, what do you think about that? You know what democracy has given us? Obesity, low rates of literacy.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone's fat because we have democracy. What is this clown doing? What are we talking about? What are we doing here? Are you serious? This is insane.
It's given us divorce, abortion, gay marriage, liberalism, pornography. That's what democracy has given us. Ghettos and crime and political correctness, diversity. Yeah, track record of democracy, not so good. Catholic.
No, people are using democracy to get these things. This is entirely the result of social movements. This is entirely the result, and I'm gonna move because I just realized I gotta clean here. But this is entirely the result of social movements. if your side is winning the social discussion of like, you know, what should be legal, what should be illegal, what should be a right, what shouldn't be a right, you don't have this. You know what democracy also gave us? Democracy gave us slavery. And you know what we don't have anymore? Slavery. So you don't blame democracy for these institutions being in place. You have to be honest and understand the fact that these democracy only gets you something if you can convince the majority of people or a significant minority of people that it is the right thing to adopt politically. Right? That's how it works. So Nick Fuentes has looked at the situation and he's like, well, you know, these things I don't like have been legislated into existence. You know what the greatest thing to do is? Make everything an autocratic, authoritarian, fascist state, and then I can make everything the way I want it to be, and then everything will be fine, right? But that's not how it works, because you also have to leave wiggle room for the fact that you're not necessarily right. So because you're not necessarily going to be right, you shouldn't be making all the decisions, because if you're wrong and no one can stop you, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. And that's a great thing about democracy, right? America was wrong about slavery. We instituted slavery. And then we were like, you know what? This is wrong. And then we changed our minds. Imagine if all the slave owners or whatever, the pro-slavery people on the South were like, had an autocracy, right? And they didn't have democracy, so no one could vote out slavery. But that would have been a disaster. Eventually, I do think long term, you would have had uprisings against the states, either of, you know, white people who oppose slavery going against America and destroying it. We did have the Civil War, but, you know, at the very least, it wouldn't have been America breaking in half and then fighting. It would have been just the people against the government, and the government of America would have completely fallen. It would not have been a good situation. That is the type of thing that Nick Fuentes will get you.
Like autocracy, pretty strong record. Catholic monarchy and just war and crusades and inquisitions, pretty good stuff. Pretty good.
Hold on. So he's saying that the Inquisitions is an example of the Inquisitions in the Crusades, or is an example of a good Catholic autocracy. So I'm going to look up the Crusades. I'm going to look up the Inquisition. Okay, so we've got the Crusades here. Series of military campaigns launched by the papacy. Okay, so this is launched by the papacy. Okay, we've got the Inquisition. So hold on, it says it had their start in 12th century Kingdom of France. Okay, so he says that Catholic autocracies have a strong record, and he gave as an example the Inquisitions and the Crusades. Okay, so let's start with the Inquisitions. The Inquisition happened in the Kingdom of France. How long did that last? It lasted 1,000 years. Okay, that's you know what? That's actually not bad. Okay, you know what? It's actually not bad. It's not bad. No, 843 to 1,848. It's not. That's not terrible. It's not bad. But it didn't last forever. Now let's look at the Pope. Let's look at the Pope. So, with the papacy. The papacy was Vatican City. Now, the Vatican City has lasted for a while, but what I want to say, so the Vatican City established independence in 1929, so it hasn't been around even 100 years yet. What I will say about the Vatican City as well is that it has no power. Nick Fuentes has to acknowledge the fact that America is a first world state. I don't think there's any example of a first world state at the scale of America in the 21st century being a Catholic autocracy and being successful.
Good stuff. You got to recognize the fact that this is a godless country. I hate it. It's immoral, it's wrong, it's heinous, it's evil.
Leave. Go somewhere more religious, like Guatemala or Mexico. Bye, Fuentes. Go somewhere that has your values. You're mad about how secular America was. Well, breaking news, buddy. America is a secular state. Maybe it's more advantageous for you to grift here in America than go to a place that actually embraces all of the values that you support. Right? Like, I don't know, is gay marriage legal in Mexico? I don't even know if it is. Let me see. Is gay marriage legal in Mexico? Well, interesting. It took them a while, but they finally got gay marriage in 2022. So it took them a while, but they did. Now, hold on. Is abortion legal in Mexico? Because I'll say this. Look. So abortion is legal in the first trimester. I think, is that more restrictive than the United States? America's pretty liberal when it comes to abortion. But I'll say this. Culturally, Mexico is not nearly as far along down the progressive path as America is. So if you want to stop or like establish a Catholic country, first of all, you get far less pushback in Mexico because Mexico is far more religious than the United States of America. Is far more Christian or Christian, Catholic, whatever. But also, they haven't instituted all the things that you've got in the United States. I don't know what's the state of trans rights in Mexico? Probably non-existent. You certainly probably don't have many trans surgeries happening down there. So leave and go somewhere that embraces the values that you support.
But this is an evil country. And I hate to burst anybody's bubble, but there is simply no evidence that there is a silent majority. There is no evidence of this. Right. There are too many non-white people in the country, frankly, for that to be the case. The country's 40% non-white, and like 80% of them are liberal, okay? And out of the white people, it's like 60-40. You do the math on that. There's not enough of us, okay? Now, that's not a total black pill because this isn't a democracy, and we don't want it to be. And so it's not the end. There are other ways, and I can elaborate on that later if people want me to, but that's a whole...
And one thing that's interesting, I will say, is that but the majority of people that I see who oppose democracy never support it due to... they never oppose democracy on, politically principled grounds. Like, they're never like, oh, you know what, because democracies are so fantastic, everyone loves democracies, we should just do that. It's never that. It's always, I am mad at the policies that people have voted in through democracy. I see this a lot with all of the women who say, that women shouldn't be allowed to vote. They're literally all conservative women. Literally the only reason that they're saying that women shouldn't be allowed to vote is that they agree with men on political and social issues. The only reason. So it's literally all just I want to get the result that I want. It's not, this is actually the best thing for society. Well, in a way it is, because they're like, whatever I want is the best thing for society, but they're purely acting and advocating for things out of political self-interest rather than well thought out political principles.
Other discussion, really. But the point is, when you look at these things like abortion, it's popular. People like abortion, hate it, but it's true. And you can thank the Jewish media for that. Abortion's popular.
Oh my goodness.
Sodomy's popular. Being gay is popular. Being a feminist is popular. Sex out of wedlock is popular. Contraceptives.
I will say some of that's dying down. Also, contraceptives are goated. So I mean, I'm gonna push back on Nick Fuentes hard on that one.
That's all popular. That's all.
But I will say this is what happens when you give a Catholic a microphone and they start talking about relationships. All right, so it comes with the territory.
Say it's good. That's not to say I like that. Popular means the people support it, which they do. And And it sucks, and it is what it is, but that's why we need dictatorship. That's unironically why we need to get rid of all that. We need to take control of the media or take control of the government and force the people to believe what we believe, or force them to play by our rules and reshape the society.
So, and I just want to pause it here because I want to say, whenever you hear Nick Fuentes speaking more moderately, just remember that these are the positions that he has been espousing for years on end. And these are the positions that his supporters support. So even if he was to turn on a dime and say, you know what, I've got the same politics as Mitt Romney, it would not change the mind of his voters because he's already set their minds on fascism.
You know, the reason I wouldn't call myself a white nationalist, it's not because I don't see the necessity.
Yo, is that Richard Spencer, bro? I think he stopped pretending that he stopped being racist, didn't he? I think.
For white people to have a homeland and for white people to have a country. It's because I think that kind of terminology is used almost exclusively by the left to defame. And I think the terminology and the labels that we use, I don't think we can look at them outside of the context of their connotations in America. Whereas maybe it might be descriptive to call somebody a white nationalist. I think it sort of loses something when an average person hears that and it's almost synonymous with Nazi or villain or whatever. And so I would say I'm a white person. I'm conscious of my white identity, conscious of nationalism. But I think in a way it's almost redundant to say that you're a white nationalist. We know that the word nation almost implicitly talks about ethnicity and biology. If you go back to the history of the word, a nation is not synonymous with country or state. Nation itself means a people. So I think if I call myself a nationalist,
Isn't it both, bro? Isn't it both? You can't have a nation without a government. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Hold on. Let me see. When. Now, one thing I like to do sometimes is I like to go to. Now, when I look up definitions of things, one thing I like to do is I like to go to the Wayback Machine and go back to like the mid 2000s because there's a lot of definitional slide that happens where things change meaning over time, or people will co-opt things like Wikipedia entries to fit their agenda or beliefs. But here, this is from 2007. It says one of the most influential doctrines. The list. What in the world? This is like the worst written. There's no way this is this. This has to be a vandalized version of the art. One of the most What? There's no way that this is legit. It's like the worst written Wikipedia article I've ever seen. Let me go forward. Okay, here it is. Contemporary definitions of the word nation often focus on the idea of a country or a sovereign state. Nevertheless, the term has historically referred to a community of people who share common history, language, culture, ancestry, or territory. That's fair. So tribes, don't always have like the most rigid governments, but they do count as nations. So I kind of get that. It's historically, though. Colloquially, nation means country or sovereign state, right? And generally, you're not going to keep control of your land very long if you don't have some form of a government, either a government or a defense force that can protect that land.
It's almost implicit in that word that it's, America does have a heritage of being a European country. So that a little bit about the wording, because I know a lot of people.
Doesn't America have a heritage of being Native American? But yeah, sure.
Would be confused by that, but that's really how I see myself.
This is why it's Christian nationalism. We need a government of Christians. We need a conservative movement, a nationalist movement led by Christians that obey the Bible and obey God and serve Jesus Christ. Tell me why we need people in government that don't serve Jesus Christ. Is that the argument? Well, here, Nick, here's why we need Jewish people in government that don't serve Jesus. Sorry, you're never going to win that argument. You're never going to convince me that we need people in government that don't serve Jesus Christ, the Son of God. You'll never convince me of that. Insofar as there's one God and he has one Son and there is one way to salvation and one way to the truth.
You've also got to go through Mary, right? Because you're Catholic. That's Isn't that how that works?
Then that's the way that the people running our society and writing the laws need to be, and no other way. And that's not hateful, and that's not prejudice. If anything, it's the opposite. You can only love your country if you want to have people running it that love God and love this world and love people. And the only people that are like that are, the only people as Christians we know that can be like that are fellow Christians. That's it. So this Judeo-Christian thing's got to stop. We don't live in a Judeo-Christian country, or at least if we do, we no longer want to live in that country. We want to live in a Christian country. We want to live in a Christian country with Christian rulers and Christian legislators and Christian judges and Christian law and Christians. And Jewish.
I feel like I don't really have anything to add to this because I've already condemned this portion of what Nick Fuentes has said, so I'm just going to keep it playing.
People can be here, but they can't make our laws. If I take 1 hour to cook a batch of cookies and Cookie Monster has 15 ovens, working 24 hours a day, every day for 5 years, how long does it take Cookie Monster to make 6 million batches of cookies? The math doesn't quite seem to add up there. I don't think you'd result in 6 million, maybe 200 to 300,000 cookies.
I'm not going to get into that because, you know, I don't know enough about the history of how many people died and how that was all counted. I think that argumenting on that point is rather stupid. You know, we know that, you know, Hitler and the Nazis murdered a whole bunch of Jews. You know, what is it cooler if it's 200,000 rather than 6 million? Like, no. So, like, you know, unless you're trying to make, well, we all know that he's trying to make Hitler seem cool, but, you know, unless you're trying to legitimize what Hitler did or make it seem like what he did was not as bad, there's really no point in quibbling over how many people actually died. Now, maybe if you've done a bunch of research and you found all the proof that, like, it was actually 200,000 people, even so, like, what's the point of dying on that hill? Right? You know, are you like some historian? You're trying to, like, even if you were, I don't understand what the point of that would be.
Jim Crow stuff, who cares? Oh, to drink out of a different water fountain, big fucking deal.
Would you say that me having sex with my dog is the same thing as me having sex with a black man?
No. But they would both be degenerate.
Oh,
I'm against race mixing.
That's crazy.
I would never do that. 9 in 10 blacks vote for Democrats. Why do they do that? God only knows. Why do they play the knockout game? Why do they punch white people in the street for no reason? Why do they rob 5 7-Elevens in 30 minutes?
Now, I think that he actually sort of exposed himself here. You know, I was talking about none of this is built on political principles. This is all built on political expediency and what's actually convenient. He led with the fact that 9 out of 10 black people vote for Democrats. Why? Because if 9 out of 10 black people voted for Republicans, he wouldn't care. If 100% of black people opposed gay marriage, opposed contraceptives, right, opposed women's rights, he would be on board with them 100%. So this is all a political game. This is all him trying to exclude various groups so that the only people who can influence various aspects of the levers of political power in the United States of America are people that agree with him. So that all of the rules are aligned with him. And he wants to try to rig the system to make it only be in his political interests and not in the political interests of the entirety of the United States of America.
Why do they walk around with their pants around their ankles? I don't know. I'm not black, so it's not my experience. It's unexplainable, but this is what they do. Okay, this is how they are. It is what it is. That black vote is locked in, man. It is totally inelastic. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter what they believe or who they like. I mean, it just doesn't matter. So why would we create these opportunity zones and a platinum plan and just send the military in. Do what must be done. Send the military into these black neighborhoods. Make the streets safe. They'll complain about it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're never going to vote for us. I'll just use whatever is at my disposal. So if Marjorie Greene came to the conference, I'm not going to say no. Because then everybody's talking about AFPAC 3, and they're talking about Russia, and they're talking about Hitler, and they're talking about white identity. So we instrumentalized her for that purpose, and it worked. We got what we were looking for. Nevertheless, it's still a problem. Like, women do not belong in politics. We can recognize that we're in a situation where we have to work with what we have politically, and then by the same token, like, never accept for one solitary moment that we would ever have any women in politics. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, I all along never accepted Marjorie Greene as a congresswoman, or Lauren Boebert for that matter, or any of them. I am also smart enough to recognize that me not accepting them does not make them not congresswomen, or does not make them not advantageous or beneficial in some way. And that's the approach that people need to have. That's why I say trust the plan a lot. Like, you need to afford me a little bit of leeway so that I can maneuver while understanding.
So now we see this game that he's playing, lying and pretending that he's just a normal conservative in front of everyone. He's like, oh, just give me a little leeway, man. You know, I got to do what I got to do to build the bridges I got to build so I can make the things I want to make. And then we can go back to the whole white power thing. Like, I hate this.
Fundamentally, there's no compromise.
If you're a right-wing guy and say, I want the most right-wing government that is, like, pure, and you take right-wing principles through to its logical conclusion, I want that. We're that. We're the immovable standard where, because it's true, whether it's the TV hosts or it's the politicians or it's the activists, they are constantly wheeling and dealing, thinking in terms of what's going to play with the voters, what's going to play with the independents, what's going to look good in front of the liberals, what's going to look normal, what's going to be palatable to women or something. And so it's always, that's why they're always being pulled to the left, because they're always looking for where areas to compromise, looking for concessions to give up. And we're the guys that are saying we will not move.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the right never tries to do this, and I don't know why. We have to try to use messaging that appeals to women, right? The only sphere where I've seen the right make appeals to women that use sort of the language that women understand is pro-lifers. And you know what happened? We overturned Roe v. Wade. So you can speak to women using things like the appeals to emotions and various things. Like, you can just throw stats at women and then expect them to vote for you. Like, that's just not going to work, right? You have to tell stories. You have to kind of break down more at a lower level, sort of what the effects of these things are. I feel like on the right, it's just a lot of men talking to each other about politics and then wondering why women are never voting with them, right? I understand that, yes, women are moving farther and farther to the left, but a lot of that is the fault of the people on the right who are not even doing anything to try to appeal to women at all, right? People are too busy being book smart and ideological that they're forgetting, or maybe not even caring, about how to relate to people. And that's just the fact. And until the right does this, then they will always be stuck playing second place, or at least having little brother syndrome, feeling like they're always behind or the underdog, even if they're not necessarily the underdog, because in 9 out of 10 issues, when it comes to politics, they will be on the unpopular end when it comes to women. You can also do things that appeal. It's not just a matter of just appealing to women, by the way. There are things that you could talk about that appeal to both men and women. So cost of living, for example. Everyone has to live, right? So if you speak to cost of living, everyone understands that. And it's hard to talk about cost of living in a way that doesn't appeal to both men and women, because cost of living is relatively basic and simple to understand, right? Regardless of how you think, regardless of you think more emotionally, regardless if you think just purely in regards to stats, whether you think purely in regards to political principles. No matter how you approach politics, when you're speaking about quality of life, you're probably going to speak about quality of life in a way that's going to connect with both men and women of all demographics, all backgrounds, all walks of life, and all perspectives. They may not agree with you, but at least they'll understand what you're talking about. There are many other issues as well, where if you broke things down to a lot of people in ways that they understand, then they would be like, you know what? Yeah, you've changed my mind. I've seen it happen occasionally in these like various, debates on the street with different people. But the thing is, those people who are debating on the street aren't the same people helming these very popular conservative talk shows or whatever. Some of these people who are changing people's minds are women. And where are their popular podcasts? Right? So we also need to take the people who are being successful and changing people's minds and giving them better platforms than people who haven't changed anybody's minds in decades, like Ben Shapiro, right? I'm not a big Ben Shapiro hater. I'm not a fan of his either, but I'm not a hater. But let's be honest, when was the last time he changed anyone's mind? What was the last big thing that he did for the conservative movement? Meanwhile, we've got Kristen, what's her name, with Pro-Life for America, Lila Rose, other people who are actively changing people's minds on cultural issues in favor of conservative and Christian values, right? So he's looking at things on the wrong end, right? We've got democracy. What's going to be harder for you to do? Change people's minds by appealing to them in ways that they understand, or getting rid of democracy wholesale? He's supporting something that is radical, that is drastic, and not only that, is relatively unlikely to be successful.
We're not purity spiraling. We're not wackos. We're saying, hey, we want a Christian government. We want a Christian government. We want a majority white country. We want nationalism. We're okay with authoritarianism. We're not ideological. These are the things we want. We're like the immovable right-wing force in politics. I've always said we're like the right-wing flank of the GOP. And you're absolutely right. That's why the left is so successful, because they're leftists. And they're going to work every day to fight to make the government left-wing. The right-wing people are not even really rightists at all. The people on TV, the conservatives, they're just literally not even down for the cause. Like, that's for openers. We are. I hear these guys like John Doyle and them, they say, well, we're just normal. Like, we just want to appeal to, like, normal people. You can't care about those things. We have to be radical. Like, we want to be the new normal, which is...
Oh, yeah, I didn't even know that John Doyle was radical, until recently. I used to watch John Doyle. Was it Heck Off Comedies, what he had? Used to watch John Doyle, 8-9 years ago, was it? It was a while ago, back when he had the logo that was ripping off Yahoo. It was quite a while ago. And I thought what he had to say was interesting. I thought maybe it was a little farther right than where I was at. But then I stopped watching him because his videos were too long. And I've always kind of been like, what happened to John Doyle? And then a few years ago, I went back and I can't even remember if he was still making videos, but if he was, they were too long. And I was like, yep, see, same problem, still there. Still, videos are still too long. So I haven't observed them, but I guess he actually was like a wolf in sheep's clothing there, which is kind of a shame because he was also quite funny.
Is going to be different in 20 years. So it's my favorite quote by Stalin. He says, will the system conquer the revolution, or will the revolution conquer the system? That's the endless tension, and we have to be the revolution.
Fuentes isn't all bad, though. Sometimes he innocently plays Minecraft just like you or me. And that's why I like to tell my viewers as well. I do sometimes play Minecraft as well. And that's also not how you spell plays. I at least understand the language of English. But yes.
Look at that. Look at that little sheep over there. What a stupid idiot. Look at him. He's just standing there. Hey!
What? I don't get what that was supposed to mean. Comments are turned. Oh man, I wanted to read the comments. I wanted to read the comments on that one. I wanted to read the comments. I love reading the comments at the end of the videos. That's always fun, right? Brent Cooper gave me that idea. Like I was watching the comment section and I was like, oh, that's cool. I should do that. So I started doing that. So it's always sad to see that the comments have been removed. But yeah, I mean, hopefully after this, you sort of understand the problems with Nick Fuentes. Maybe you're not exactly where I'm at politically. Maybe you're on the left. Maybe you're Catholic. But at the end of the day, I think it should be obvious to see that building up an ethno-state, especially a religious ethno-state, is just not good. It's not smart. It's not wise. It's definitely not what Jesus would do. And so, yeah, it's the tension of him trying to do that while pretending or claiming to be Catholic or Christian is rather. It's got to be a taut tension there. I'm surprised that he's trying to straddle that fence, but what he's doing is successful for him. So, to be fair, I don't necessarily blame him for sticking with it. But I just hope that this is an alarm bell. I hope that this is an alarm bell to Christians and conservatives to be on the watch for this dude, push back on this dude, because if you don't, I think that he will take over the right. So, watch out for him, push against him. And for the people who are fans of him, they need to be expelled from the conservative movement as well. And I don't know about the Republican Party, maybe not, maybe that's too undemocratic, but I think, there needs to be an excoriation of anyone who's a fan of Nick Fuentes, because that is just way too far, and it is disastrous and destructive, not just for the conservative movement as a whole, but also for America as a country. Let's see here. Let me pull something up here. Hold on, I think I see something. I'm surprised that there's no news about this. Guess there's no news about this, so I'll read this article. So we've got this from the AP. Interoceanic train derails in southern Mexico, killing at least 13 and injuring dozens. Officials said a train accident in southern Mexico killed at least 13 people and injured dozens, halting traffic along a rail line connecting the Pacific Ocean with the Gulf of Mexico. The interoceanic train linking the states of Oaxaca in Veracruz went off the rails Sunday as it passed a curve near the town of Nezanda. The Mexican Navy has informed me that tragically 13 people died in the interoceanic train accident. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum posted on X, adding that 98 people. Now it's quite bad. 5 of them seriously? That's almost 20 people dead if they all die. That's awful. She said she instructed the Secretary of the Navy and the Undersecretary of Human Rights of the Ministry of the Interior to travel to the site and personally assist the families. In a message on next Sunday, Oaxaca State Governor Salomon Jara said several government agencies had reached the site of the accident to assist the injured. Officials said the 241 passengers and 9 crew members were on the train when the accident occurred. Oh, it's fair. So you've got less than half of the people injured, which is actually not that bad. The interoceanic train was inaugurated in 2023 by then President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. The rail service is part of a broader push to boost train travel in southern Mexico and develop infrastructure along the isthmus of Tehuantepec. I hope I'm saying that right. A narrow stretch of land between the Pacific Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. Let's see here. The Mexican government plans to turn the isthmus into a strategic corridor for international trade with ports and rail lines that can connect the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. The interoceanic train currently runs, it does, from the port of Salina Cruz on the Pacific Ocean to Coatzacoalcos, covering a distance of approximately 180 miles. That's awful. Now, they did say that the line is still running. Hopefully, this damage isn't so bad that it's going to be an extensive project to get it back up and running. And hopefully, they're also able to break down what caused this issue and how to fix it. Because, Mexico should have some more train lines. I think that's fair to say. So, this is a key part of that project to get more train infrastructure up and running. Hopefully they can continue to expand this, and this doesn't sort of like halt development of train travel in Mexico, kind of like the Chernobyl disaster halted development of nuclear technology and building nuclear power plants all across the world. Because that kind of like with the nuclear power plants, this would also be a shame if Mexico stopped developing in this way. Let's see. Oh, okay. Hold on. So, let me see. Let me pull this up here. Yeah, so we do have news on the Russia-Ukraine war. Let me pull this up.
Well, thank you very much. We had a terrific meeting. We discussed a lot of things. As you know, I had an excellent phone call with President Putin that lasted for over 2 hours. We discussed a lot of points, and I do think we're getting a lot closer, maybe very close. The President and I just spoke to the European leaders. They were President Emmanuel Macron of France, President Alexander Stubb of the Republic of Finland, President Karol Nawrocki of the Republic of Poland, Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store of the Kingdom of Norway, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni of the
George Meloni. Read the closed captions. That's hilarious. George Meloni.
Republic, Prime Minister Keir Starmer of the United Kingdom of Britain and Northern Ireland, Chancellor Friedrich Merz, the Federal Republic of Germany, Secretary General Mark Rutte, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, President Ursula von der Leyen of the European Commission. We spoke to all of those great leaders. They're all great leaders. And we had a great talk with them after we were completed. We thought it was appropriate to speak with them. And our meeting was excellent. We covered, somebody would say 95%. I don't know what percent, but we have made a lot of progress on ending that war, which is really certainly the most deadly war since World War II, probably the biggest war since World War II. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff, who's here, and I'd like to thank Jared, who's here someplace. Thank you, Jared, and thank you, Steve. What a great job you've done. Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, and Marco Rubio is here. Thank you, Marco. And Pete Hegseth is here. Those two people are doing an unbelievable job, and the four people on this one are doing, I don't think anybody could do it, and we'll see if it gets done, but it's very close, certainly. Nobody would even have a chance of getting it to where it is right now. Nobody would have thought that was possible. So I just want to say we've done very well. We've had discussions on just about every subject, and that includes with President Putin before. And we went into great detail, and we likewise went into great detail today. And it was an honor to have you at Mar-a-Lago and have lunch. I hope you enjoyed the food. Your people enjoyed the food. I can tell you that. You're big, strong people. Your general over there looks like central casting. I want to also, by the way, speaking of generals, we have a great general, General Raisin Kane, who is here someplace. Thank you, General. Thank you very much. He's great. So, Mr. President, maybe you want to say a few words, and then we'll speak over the next couple of weeks. We'll speak probably quite a bit, but we'll speak tomorrow. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything, dear colleagues. First of all, I would like to thank President Trump for a great meeting at this amazing place in his home in Mar-a-Lago. And we had a really great discussions on all the topics, and we appreciate the progress that was made by American and Ukrainian teams in these recent weeks. Special thanks to Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, and thank you to for their engagement and full commitment, and also to our team, and first of all to Rustem Umerov and General Gnatov, and to all our teams. And we discussed all the aspects of the peace framework, which includes, and we have a great achievements, 20-point peace plan, 90% agreed, and U.S.-Ukraine security guarantees 100% agreed. U.S.-Europe-Ukraine security guarantees almost agreed. Military dimension 100% agreed. Prosperity plan being finalized, and we also discussed the sequencing of the following actions. And we agree that security guarantees is the key milestone in achieving lasting peace, and our teams will continue working on all aspects. We also had a joint
as big as they were going to produce this, it was as big as they were going to make this meeting out to be. I knew for a fact that they were not going to get more security guarantees. What Ukraine wants is boots on the ground. And that would start World War III. There's no way we're doing that, at least under this administration. Thankfully, thank goodness. And so, sure, Ukraine's going to keep working towards that goal. It's their goal, but they're not going to succeed.
Productive call with European leaders, like President Trump said already, and a lot of leaders, including NATO and EU. And we agreed that our teams will meet in upcoming weeks to finalize all discussed matters. And we agreed with President Trump that...
Wait, so it's not like there were verbal agreements, but they haven't been ratified. So how big is this? If tomorrow they'll wake up, clock in on Monday, and it's you know what? Maybe we don't actually agree on this. Yeah, and then it's back to square one. That's not great.
He will host us, and maybe in Washington, European leaders and Ukrainian delegation, in January. And Ukraine is ready for peace. And once again, would like to thank President Trump for a warm welcome and substantial discussion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Any questions, please?
The U.S. Ukraine security guarantees. What number are we at right now?
Well, I think you can say 95%, but I don't like to say percentages. I just think we're doing very well. We could be very close. There are one or two very thorny issues, very tough issues, but I think we're doing very well. We've made a lot of progress today, but really we've made it over the last month. This is not a one-day process deal. This is very complicated stuff, but I think when the president says 95, I think, could be close to 95%. Yeah, please, behind you.
Mr. President, can you agree on the so-called free trade zone on Donbass? How to separate the sites? How to make the separation line? Who will be responsible?
The word agreed is too strong. I would say not agreed, but we're getting closer to an agreement on that, and that's a big issue. Certainly, that's one of the big issues, and I think we're closer than we were. Probably it's unresolved, but it's getting a lot closer. That's a very tough issue, but one that I think will get resolved. Yeah, please.
We are receiving some mixed signals coming from Moscow, even after this talk. Can you assure us that you have received written or any formal response from them?
Well, what was the issue? You have to tell me. What did they say?
So they are telling that Ukraine has to give up Donbass. Very recent statement.
Well, that's what they've been asking for, and there's a dispute about that. So they're going to have to iron that out. That's an issue they have to iron out. But I think it's moving in the right direction.
By the way, I've got heavy compression on my audio system, but I'm only hearing it without like completely unfiltered or unedited. So you guys in the chat might actually be able to understand what the reporter is saying here, but I cannot.
If something doesn't happen? You mean if something doesn't happen? Yeah, go ahead.
May I ask?
No, go ahead. You're going to finish your question. Well, we'll see. Look, we'll see. But I don't want to talk about that because I think we're getting pretty close. Yes, please.
May I ask the President of Ukraine?
Please.
Yes, about territorial question. Mr. President, what is your take on Donbas status? Are you prepared to see it as a free economic or demilitarized zone?
No, we spoke about 20 points plan, and I'm happy that really our team's very close to results. And I agree with President Trump that our teams work not one day and not one week, more than 1 month, beginning from Geneva, then 2 meetings in Miami, then we had Berlin, and now we have Mar-a-Lago. So this is a very difficult question. You know our position, so it's we have to respect our law and our people, and we respect the territory which we control. And of course, our attitude is very clear. That's why President Trump said this is a very tough question. And of course, we have with Russians different positions on it.
And have you discussed referendum about?
No, when we speak about referendum, we spoke that it's one of the key. We can have referendum on any kind of points of this plan. I said that we can use referendum like for the plan, or we cannot use referendum. It's one of the key. We can use, this possibility of Parliament to vote according to the law or to have referendum. It doesn't matter. This referendum, if the plan will be very difficult for our society, very difficult, of course our society has to choose and has to vote, because it's their land, the land not of one person, it's the land of our nation for a lot of generations.
They'll probably have to get their plan approved by Parliament or by referendum of the people. You would think that they want, I know they had a poll that it's 91% in favor of ending this war, so they want to end it like everybody wants. Russia wants it ended, everybody wants it ended, and we want it ended. I want it ended because I don't want to see so many people dying. We're losing, massive numbers of people, the biggest by far since World War II. So we want to see it ended, absolutely.
President
Yes.
Trump, you said at the top that you plan to speak again tomorrow. Is that correct?
I might. It depends on what happens tomorrow. If there's an additional something to add, otherwise there's no reason to. We're in the process. Jared and Steve are working very hard to get something done, and if there's something that comes up, I'd speak, but otherwise I don't think there's any reason to.
In your mind, sir, what are the thorniest issues still unresolved after the...
Well, I think the land you're talking about, some of that land has been taken. Some of that land is maybe up for grabs, but it may be taken over the next period of a number of months, and you're better off making a deal now. Look, let me tell you, they have been very brave. They fought very hard and continue to fight very hard and do tremendous damage. But Russia would like to see it end, and Ukraine would like to see it, and I think it's time to end. And a lot of very brave people, a lot of people that are dead right now, unfortunately, because I've said, and nobody's disputed it, that if the election weren't rigged and stolen, 2020, you wouldn't have had this war, would have never happened. And it didn't happen for 4 years, never was even thought to happen. And I spoke with President Putin. I got along with him very well, despite the Russia hoax, which was a total hoax. He used to say, "What is going on over there?" But it was a total hoax, as he knew and as I knew. But I spoke to him, and we'd talk about Ukraine. I've said it before. It was the apple of his eye, but he wasn't going to do anything about it. He didn't do anything about it until I was gone, and then a lot of really bad statements were made by people. By a lot of people, I guess, but by a certain president that we had who was a disaster. Yes?
Do you anticipate going to Ukraine if you can get to an agreement? And
I'd have no problem with doing it. I have no problem with doing it. Don't anticipate it. Would like to get the deal done and not necessarily have to go. I've offered to go and speak to their parliament And, if that would help, I don't know if that would help. I think it would probably help, but I don't even know if that's...
You're welcome.
Yeah, I know.
Always.
So I'm not sure that it would be really necessary, but if it would help save 25,000 lives a month or whatever it may be, I would certainly be willing to do that. Yeah, please. No, behind you. Where are you from?
From Ukraine.
Good, I had a feeling. Good.
How about Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant? Have you started?
On what?
Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant.
Yeah, we discussed that at length today. As you know, it's in pretty good shape. It can start up immediately, almost immediately. And it's one of the things I discussed with President Putin. And they were talking about the nuclear plant. That's probably the biggest in the world, just about the biggest anywhere in the world. Can you believe that? And President Putin's actually working with Ukraine on getting it open. He's been very good in that sense. He wants to see that open. And he hasn't hit it with missiles, hasn't hit it with anything. It's a big danger to do that for everybody. But they're working together to try and get it. It can open very quickly. It's in pretty good shape. And the people there have been there for years. The people there running it. They have 5,000 people in that plant. Can you believe it? I learned that today. 5,000 people. It's the biggest plant of its kind in the world. Yeah. And they're working together to get it open. They could maybe get it open quickly. That's a big step. When he's not bombing that plant, it's a big step.
Mr. President, in the readout from Moscow, they talked about the creation of some working groups.
Yes.
That would be set. Can you tell us about what those working groups would entail? And also, if you wouldn't mind, what is the message that you will give to Putin when you speak to him after your meeting?
So the working group is going to be composed of Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, General Raisin Kane, Marco Rubio, and a few other people that we're going to be putting onto it. I think Pete Hegseth should be in that working group. He knows the territory very well. He's been fantastic at what he's doing. And they may add one or two people. And likewise, Ukraine's going to have some very good people that were at lunch today that enjoyed the lunch today a lot. It's more than they thought, right? But do you want to say who may be on your working group?
Yeah, we now, as I said, that we work with Steve and Jared. We worked our Rustem Umerov and also Deputy Minister Gislitz and also General Ignatov, and they will continue work in this group. And of course, if we will go further, and I hope that really we will have decisions in January, as I said, about all these documents, 6 documents, and of course we will continue work on this, so they know what to do. Yes.
And that working group, by the way, importantly, will also then be working with Russia. Okay? Because to work with ourselves doesn't really solve much of a problem. So they'll be working with Russia. Yeah, please.
I will say I'm really curious as to what type of concessions Trump will be able to get out of Russia, because Trump was pointing fingers at Ukraine. He was saying, you don't have the cards. Well, guess who also doesn't have the cards? The United States of America. Russia did a really good job of sort of isolating themselves from the Western world who opposes them, sort of into like the arms of the Axis powers, so to speak. There's nothing really, I don't think, that Russia needs from America that they can't get from China. So I think that, sure, Trump may want to speak with Russia and try to get concessions on something, but I think there's a real limit to how much weight Trump can throw around against Putin. If Trump had leverage to use against Russia, I think that the war would have been over by now. Trump's been able to end other conflicts. But the difference between those conflicts and this one is that Trump does not have much leverage against Russia. And, well, I mean, there's some weight he could throw around, but he couldn't throw around much weight until without things turning into like a World War III type scenario.
You weren't a deadline guy. How long do you think it'll take to get this last little bit, as you say, finished? What are we talking about?
So if it went really well, maybe a few weeks. And if it went poorly, longer. And if it went really poorly, it's not going to happen. That would be a shame. There's that chance also. It's possible it doesn't happen. But, in a few weeks, we will know one way or the other, I think. But But if it went really well, but it could also go poorly. I mean, we could have something where one item that you're not thinking about is a big item. Breaks it up. Look, it's been a very difficult negotiation, very detailed. It's funny, I settled 8 wars. Some were going on for 35 years. And we got them settled in a couple of days. Some of them, one was going on for 37 years. I settled it in 1 day. But this is a very complex one.
You want to put odds on it? What the bad?
No, I think we'll get it done. I don't want to say when, but I think we're going to get it done. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. President, you in the past have suggested a trilateral meeting between both Presidents Putin and Zelensky. Is
right.
that something that is also on the docket?
I see that happening, sure, at the right time. I saw a very interesting President Putin today. I mean, he wants to see it happen. He wants to see it. He told me very strongly. I believe him. Don't forget, we went through the Russia hoax together. And he'd call me, I'd call him, I'd say, can you believe the stuff that they're making up? And it turned out we were right. They made it all up. And despite that, we didn't get into wars and we didn't get into problems, but we weren't able to trade very much or any of that, which was a shame because, a lot of success could have been had by trading with Russia. They have great land, great minerals and other things, and we have things that they want very badly. But the Russia hoax, which was a terrible, made-up, fictional thing by Crooked Hillary and by Adam Shifty Schiff and bad people, sick people, they made it up. It was all a made-up hoax, but it kept us really from dealing with Russia, kept Russia from dealing with us. So, but despite that, we got along, and I don't know. I think we're going to get there. I know him very well. I think we're going to get there.
Did you discuss any time, location, meeting place?
Yeah, we're discussing a lot of things. No, look. I was on the phone with him for almost, I guess, 2.5 hours. They're just telling me now. That's a long time. We discussed a lot of things. We didn't talk about the weather. We weren't talking about what a beautiful day it is in Palm Beach, Florida. Yes.
Trump, President Zelensky mentioned maybe a meeting with European leaders back in Washington. Would that be in the next few weeks?
Well, in Washington or someplace, yeah. These leaders that I just read, these are great people. They've spent a lot of money on helping Ukraine. And look, they're doing it for themselves also, meaning their country, because Ukraine's a very important country for them in particular. For us, it's very important. To me, it's the lives. We're thousands and thousands of miles. We're protected by a thing called the Atlantic Ocean and lots of other places, to be honest. And they're not. They're right there. But we're working together with them as we should be. But I'm doing it to save lives. We're not spending any money. Biden gave $350 billion away. And the president was nice enough to give us a contract to take out rare earth and things. So we'll see how that all works out. We have a contract, but we appreciated that. It was very good. But we'll see how that works out. But if you think about it, we're going to have. I really believe we're probably, Mr. President, by far closer than ever before with both parties. We had some times when he was close and President Putin wasn't. Then when President Putin was close and he wasn't. You saw that in the White House. But I think they both want to see it happen.
Mr. President, in your conversation with...
Well, I mean, it's not just a matter of getting peace, but it's a matter of what that looks like. How much land does Ukraine have left? Does Ukraine even exist? Stuff like that, little things, relatively unimportant.
That you've said multiple times that you want to stop the killing, and nearly 100 American citizens are in Ukraine over that.
Yeah.
What's your message to their families whose loved ones died fighting?
Well, look, the message is so obvious. It's what a shame. They died in a foreign country, and some are celebrated people. They're very celebrated, but so sad that a thing like that would happen. Yes, ma'am.
President Trump, obviously security is a major issue for the Ukrainians.
Right.
Did you offer any promises, any assurances today?
Well, I did. We want to work with Europe, and Europe is going to take over a big part of it, as you can imagine. They're right there, but we're going to help Europe 100%. Like they'd help us. Yes, ma'am. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, when your conversation...
Who are you with?
Andrea Shalal with Reuters.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So in your conversation with President Putin, did you discuss what responsibility Russia will have for any kind of reconstruction of Ukraine post an agreement?
I did. They're going to be helping. Russia's going to be helping. Russia wants to see Ukraine succeed. Once, it sounds a little strange, but I was explaining to the president, President Putin was very generous in his feeling toward Ukraine succeeding, including supplying energy, electricity, and other things at very low prices. So a lot of good things came out of that call today. But they were in the works for 2 weeks with Steve and with Jared and Marco and everybody.
Did Russia agree, or did Putin agree to a ceasefire to allow a referendum to take
Not a ceasefire. And that's one of the points that we're working on right now. No, not a ceasefire. He feels that, look, you know, they're fighting and to stop, and then if they have to start again, which is a possibility, he doesn't want to be in that position. I understand that position. The president feels strongly about that or something, but I think we're finding ways that we can get around that. But I understand President Putin from that standpoint. You know, you have to understand the other side. And, you know, I'm on the side of peace. I'm on the side of stopping the war. So, but I think that's a problem that's going to get solved, yeah.
Would people who live outside of Ukrainians who fled during the war be allowed to participate in the referendum?
What do you mean, people where live?
The people that left.
We have, you know, if we speak about the people who are abroad, who are not on the territory of Ukraine, you mean that in Poland, in Germany, we have millions of people. Yeah, they have a referendum in the same of elections, in the same way how people come and vote. They have rights for this, and of course they have to come. That's why if we will come to referendum, yes, if we will come to such decision, people need infrastructure for this, and it's not simple. And that's why we spoke about it. It can't be in one day, very quickly. It's difficult because we need infrastructure. When you have millions of people, you have to build it in Europe, mostly in Europe for today.
President Trump, I know you sound an optimistic note here, but what happens in a few weeks if things sputter? What are you prepared to do?
They keep fighting, and they keep dying. No good. But if things don't happen, they keep fighting, and they keep dying.
The truth.
We don't want that to happen. He doesn't want it to happen. President Putin doesn't want it to happen either. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Interesting. I will say,
thank you.
Trump seemed to give way more.
There's no lunch. He walked in. He said, "This place is gorgeous. I don't think
Trump
he wants to go to the White House anymore." That's the problem.
I'm ready to go to the White House.
I know we are. It is. It is. The White House is a very special place, and so is this. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Trump seemed to give way more, like too much emphasis on, you know, they both want the war to end. Like, sure, everyone knows that they both want the war to end. It's just a matter of, like, you know, what does that look like at the end of the day? Right? What is the result of that? That's the real sticking point. All right. Oh, hold on. What is this? What is this? Secretary Rubio gives your interview.
Hi, it's Marco Rubio. I'm the National Security Advisor and the Secretary of State and the Archivist right now, the acting Archivist for the 47th President of the United States, the best president we've ever had, and it's an honor to be able to do this job. We have a lot of achievements this year. Let's start with the peace deals. One peace.
What is it? Happy New Year, Happy New Year's Eve or whatever. Good video to post for this.
This year. Let's start with the peace deals. One peace deal after another. India, Pakistan were ready to go to war, a very dangerous war. The president stopped it. Cambodia and Thailand, we got that peace deal put in place. Azerbaijan and Armenia, a war that could have started that would have been terrible. We put that into place. And of course, Gaza, that long war, nobody saw an end to it. The president got involved, brought it to an end, and with a plan for long-term stability and security. Beyond that,
I mean, the war isn't technically over. It does irk me a little bit that, you know, a lot of people on the right are saying the war's over. No, it's basically paused, like a brief intermission, and there are continued spurts in fighting. It's not over, but I mean, things are a lot more peaceful now than they were before.
We went to Europe this year, and the president got NATO to do something no president has ever been able to get NATO to do, and that is increase their defense spending to 5%. Just a few years ago, they were at 1-2%. 5% for all these countries, an incredible achievement by President Trump and his team here. Beyond that,
I didn't even know that was something that Trump ran on. I'm glad he made good on that promise.
Reforms under the president's leadership that we've done at the State Department. We got rid of USAID. We brought all that foreign aid under the State Department so that now when we give money to countries, we know where the money's going and we know we're helping our allies and our friends and not just enriching some, third-party group that's making a bunch of money from your taxpayer dollars. We also help secure the border. That's been a responsibility of the Homeland Security Department, but we had a role to play, not just in the deals we made with other countries to send people back. We've got more countries than ever accepting their people that are in this country illegally from their countries. They're taking them back. They're also helping us stop them from coming here in the first place. This is a great achievement. So on issue after issue, the president has kept his promise to the American people. He's keeping us safe by taking the war to the drug cartels. The drug cartels that are poisoning and killing our people. President Trump, he promised to do it, and he's stopping them. He's doing it. He's keeping his promise to you. 2026 is going to bring more challenges, but we have a great president and a great team that he's built, and we can't wait to see the exciting achievements of the year to come. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year to everybody. The best is yet to come.
So this is sort of like a year in review for mostly international affairs, it seems. No description been added to this video. I thought there would have been a description added to the video. But yeah, I mean, I gotta give it to Trump, right? I take umbrage with things that he does sometimes, but when it comes to international affairs, it's like the one thing that Trump has like basically nailed it on. He hasn't really started many conflicts that were not worth starting. He ended way more conflicts than I actually expected him to do, especially so quickly. It's sort of like to the point where it's like, oh, like which conflicts are left to resolve? Like Russia, Ukraine, and like maybe that's it. So Trump has done a really good job with foreign policy. I'm really glad, happy, and encouraged to see him, make so much progress. Here, let me pull this up. Okay, let me pull up this story. So earlier we took a look at a story about the Mexican train crash, and I did find this video. So let's take a look at this. This might have footage.
A train accident in southern Mexico injured at least 13 people and halted traffic along a rail line connecting the Pacific Ocean with the Gulf of Mexico. The interoceanic train linking the states of Oaxaca and Veracruz derailed as it passed a curve near the town of Nizanda. As per the officials, 241 passengers and 9 crew members were on the train when the accident occurred. This interoceanic train was inaugurated in 2023 by then-President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. The rail service is part of a broader push to boost train travel in southern Mexico and develop infrastructure along the Isthmus of Tehuantepec, a narrow stretch of land between the Pacific Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. The Mexican government plans to turn the isthmus into a strategic corridor for international trade, with ports and rail lines that can connect the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans.
That all you gotta say? Bro, this video isn't even halfway finished. But yeah, that looks pretty awful. I can see why so many people died going down that steep ravine. I wonder if there's been an assessment so far as to what caused this. This might be a story worth keeping an eye on. 9 crew members were on board, 241 passengers. How many cars were on that train? Did they have a crew member on every car of the train? Mexican interoceanic train has been running since 2023. Is there going to be any more? Are there going to be any more words on this video? Yeah, no more video, no more words. I was hoping. Oh, hold on, wait. Oh, hold on. We do some additional stuff. So it says here, the Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum expressed grief on X. Secretariat of the Navy has informed me that in the interoceanic train accident, unfortunately, 13 people died. 98 are injured, 5 of them seriously. The injured are in IMSS hospitals in Matias, Romero, and Salina Cruz, as well as in IMSS Wellbeing hospitals in Yucatan and Ixtepez. I've given instructions for the Secretary of the Navy, the Deputy Secretary of Human Rights of the Secretariat of the Interior to travel to the site and personally attend to the families. Also, the delegates of IMSS and IMSS Wellbeing. The Secretary of the Interior will coordinate the efforts. I appreciate the support of the Governor of Oaxaca and his team. We will continue to provide updates. All right, so is this the last thing? Nothing else new. Okay, nothing else new. I really do hope they get to the bottom of what caused this, so they can kind of get this train back up and running, and also continue expanding train travel in Mexico, because I think that's worth doing. I think we'd all like to see that happen in Mexico, for them to increase train travel there. All right, we've got this video from CNN. It's called "Trump Says U.S. Military Struck ISIS Terrorists in Nigeria." When I heard about this, this was pretty positive news. I was glad to hear this, because we've all heard about what's been going on with the Christians in Nigeria. Now, I will say my support for this and jubilance at these strikes has been as a Christian, not necessarily as an American. I think as an American, America needs to be involved internationally far less than it is now. But as a Christian, Christians are my people. So I'm really glad to see Trump taking a stand to defend Christians in this way, attacking ISIS, who have been attacking Christians in Nigeria for quite some time now.
Breaking news this morning, we are learning new details about the deadly strike operation that President Trump says he ordered on Islamic State terrorists in Nigeria. Listen to this. That, as you can see, released from the Department of Defense yesterday evening. The U.S. military reports multiple ISIS terrorists were killed in the attack, which the president first announced on social media. This comes after the president for months has warned that the United States could take military action in the African nation, claiming that ISIS had been targeting Christians in the region. The president writing in part this on social media about it: "I have previously warned that these terrorists, that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay." And tonight, he goes on to say, the Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Now, Nigeria confirmed the two countries coordinated in this effort, in this strike. Their foreign minister joined CNN earlier this morning.
What took place yesterday clearly underscores the fact that Nigeria is not lacking in will and a commitment to the fight against terrorism.
This is really good, because I think we've seen from the country of Nigeria some hesitation to admit that Christians are getting attacked, and it's becoming at least a massacre, not a genocide, and this is something that needs to be stopped and halted. Nice to see them taking action. Most likely, probably with a little bit of prodding for the United States, but I will most certainly take what we can get.
CNN's Nada Bashir tracking this one for us. Nada, what is the very latest that you're picking up?
Well, we're still not getting full details just yet from U.S. officials with regards to the details surrounding this strike. What we do know is the U.S. Africa Command has said that multiple Islamic State targets and militants were killed overnight in these deadly strikes. We've heard, as you mentioned, from the U.S. president himself addressing this military action in social media, saying and describing this as a powerful and deadly strike against Islamic State terrorists. And this strike took place in the northern Sokoto region of Nigeria. Nigeria, just bordering Niger. Now, at this stage, again, no clear details with regards to the impact. What we do know is that this was carried out in coordination with the Nigerian government. We've heard from a Nigerian presidential spokesperson and advisor saying that both the US and Nigeria are on the same page when it comes to tackling these security concerns. And of course, what we've been hearing from the White House for several weeks now and from the US president himself is the ramping up of concern around the protection of Nigeria's Christian community against extremist attacks. And it's important to note and underscore that, of course, Nigeria does have a deep-rooted history of security troubles when it comes to Islamist extremist groups. But these attacks that we have seen in the past have targeted both Nigeria's Christian and Muslim communities, two of the largest religious communities in the country. So this is certainly a historic concern within the country, but we are now seeing very clearly that first-hand action by the US military in Nigeria, according to officials, in coordination with the Nigerian government.
Nada, thank you so much. Much more detail to learn here for sure. Appreciate it.
And the president warning, of course, there could be more to come in Nigeria, writing on Truth Social.
That'd be interesting.
Quote, dead terrorists, warning there will be...
I actually didn't know that Trump was planning on striking Nigeria again. Well, I mean, because the thing is, with strikes like these, I feel like it'd be wisest to you do the strike and then you see what the reaction is going to be. You know, if you strike the enemies and they're like, all right, we'll back off, sorry about that, Daddy Trump, then like, maybe you don't need to do more strikes. I understand ISIS is bad, but the whole point is to get them to stop attacking Christians. If they stop attacking Christians, then the mission was successful, right? So...
In his words, many more if the slaughter...
Actually, you know what? He actually adds that caveat. Sorry, I should have been reading the words as I was speaking. It does say, says, may God bless our military and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists. Trump is a troll, man. I wish there would be many more if the slaughter of Christians continue.
Of Christians continues. Joining me now in the group chat, Sungmin Kim, CNN political analyst and White House reporter at the Associated Press. Ashley Davis.
You're calling this a group chat? Well, this is boomer nomenclature for boomer viewers. Like this is what CNN is for boomers. You call this a group chat? Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna die on this hill, but that's ridiculous.
Davis, former George W. Bush White House official, and Eugene Scott, contributing columnist at the Boston Globe and visiting fellow at the Johns Hopkins University Agora Institute. It's nice to see all of you this morning. Sungmin, when we look at where things stand, the fact that the president really has cast himself as this peacemaker often talks about the wars that he says that he has ended, and yet we are seeing this approach not just in Nigeria, but in other pockets around the world. How do we square what we hear from the president and what we see on the ground?
Well, how the administration squares it is that this is all part of President Trump's strategy, his foreign policy doctrine of peace through strength, obviously. However, you have, on the one hand, you have, him touting all the conflicts that he has helped resolve abroad, but then you see a lot of offensive military action abroad. And, his aides don't see that necessarily as a contradiction. They say that part of keeping broader peace is making sure that these targets abroad know that the U.S. is willing to strike if necessary. But I also think that this is a contradiction that you're going to be hearing on Capitol Hill, particularly as it relates to these strikes and and the strikes that we've been seeing elsewhere in the country. You have
this is so stupid. We have people who are at the very least terrorizing and slaughtering civilians, right? These militant groups, right? It's not just ISIS, by the way. You've got the Fulani Herdsmen. You've got other groups over in the region killing Christians and civilians. The idea that striking those people cannot possibly be in the interest of peace is just like, it almost feels like naked propaganda. There's no way that, like, in average, well, maybe this is the case. Maybe this is how average people think. I don't know, but it's crazy that you've got striking ISIS is the opposite of trying to have peace throughout the world. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Like, if Trump was to put boots in the, like, all these lefties, you know, hate Russia. If Trump were to put boots in the ground in Russia, in Ukraine, would they say that this means that Trump does not support peace? No, that would be absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd.
You know, you had the Pentagon saying yesterday that, you know, they did this in coordination with Nigeria's government. However, you know, you're already starting to hear from, you know, Capitol Hill. What about coordination with us? Is this something that, you know, lawmakers should have authorized? And I think that tension, that conflict is also what we're going to be hearing in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, one would anticipate that, especially we'll likely hear a little bit of it today, but certainly once lawmakers return from their recess. It's also interesting, the president has, this is not the first time he has called out what he says are targeted attacks on Christians. It's important to note the country itself is about split between Christian and Muslim faith, and the data doesn't necessarily support the president's claim that Christians are being disproportionately targeted.
I'm a little bit tired about hearing this. This is a straight up propaganda segment. Name me 10 instances over the past 2 years where non-Christians were targeted in these attacks, and I'll sit down from this position. The chat's open. I haven't disabled comments, so hey, let me know. Let me know. I'm all ears on some examples of non-Christians being targeted in Nigeria. I'm waiting.
Ashley, this has been, though religious persecution has been a really animating subject matter, if you will, for many conservatives. Does it matter to them that the data doesn't line up? Because that is a significant issue.
Well, good morning, Erica. Nice to see you, and hope everyone had a great Christmas. But I think that it's really important that we need to realize that there's two things. One, that we did coordinate with the government of Nigeria, and two, Nigeria is a really complicated country that we've been dealing with. I mean, I'm a national security hawk, go back to George Bush administration. There's been terrorists breeding in that region for a long time. What I just learned this morning was the fact that we coordinated, which makes it less complicated than before. But I'm very happy that the administration is actually striking in abroad rather than them coming and striking us in our country. In regards to the
Bro, did they literally just get like the dumbest panelists to be here in this group chat? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just the thought of ISIS. I'm sorry. The thought of ISIS striking America from Nigeria is just absurd to me. There's no way that would ever happen. What is she talking about? What?
The Christian and Muslim controversies. I mean, we don't know what we don't know. It's so complicated. There's a lot of national security complications that are overlaid between the two groups that the ISIS and terrorist groups are hiding behind the Muslim religion. And so I think that we need to be very cautious that this is, including with the president, that this is a religious attack.
Yeah, caution definitely advised. I will just say, just based on our reporting, the data does not support the claims that Christians are being disproportionately targeted. To your point, there are a number of disputes internally. It's not just religious, it's communal. It has to do with ethnic tensions, farmer-herder disputes. There's a lot happening in Nigeria specifically. You know, when we look at Eugene, when we look at the way that this is playing out, well, we're also looking at new movement off the coast of Venezuela. What does this tell you about the focus moving forward when it comes to not just where the U.S. is leaning in internationally, but what it could mean in terms of support domestically when there are these questions continually raised about Congress and even notifications?
Well, that is one of the main questions many lawmakers have, including some on the right. There seems to not be some consistency in terms of vision. If there is a foreign policy agenda, which obviously there is, it hasn't been communicated in a way that it's clearly understood and supported with even some of the people in the president's base. I've talked to voters, and they're very concerned sometimes that they don't know what the next move is going to be from this president in terms of global conflicts and international affairs, and how inconsistent it seems to be with what he campaigned on. Part of that is because we know that the president's support is actually...
What's inconsistent? There's no inconsistency. There's literally no inconsistency. Give me like 5 inconsistencies. There's none, and it is completely irrelevant because right now we're talking about ISIS in Nigeria. There's 0 inconsistencies in this conflict. I don't know what he's talking about.
Actually more ideologically diverse than I think a lot of people outside of his camp realize. And so there's
that's
issues
true.
that are of concern and major priorities for one segment, such as perhaps Christian conservatives, and not others, which might be some of the individuals who want to see America pull back from some of these types of interactions. And so I think what will be really interesting moving forward when the new year begins is seeing what is laid out, what type of vision is communicated, and how the president is able to get different sects within his tribe on the same page.
Interesting. I want to see what the reception of this was. Now I will never get my money back. Now I'll never get my money promised to me from the Nigerian prince. Yeah, rip that dude. Rip that dude. This is from Knee1 here from 5836. When you hate Trump so much, you get salty over terrorists dying. True. Ryan Ross W5K says, came here to see the ISIS supporters. Let's see. You've got this from IKLLNP. Why don't the CNN reporter live in Nigeria for a couple weeks to analyze her data, whether it's disproportional? Yeah, that's one thing too. You know, I've seen videos and stuff of Nigerians. There's a compilation. I wish I had it on me. There was a compilation of Nigerians praising Donald Trump for his actions in Nigeria. The Nigerian government cooperated with America. Nigerians support this action against ISIS. I haven't seen a single Nigerian clip of I haven't seen a single clip of a Nigerian saying, I don't support this action. So it seems to me like America, like the state of America, wants to stop the slaughtering of these Christians. Nigeria wants to stop the slaughtering of these Christians. The majority of Nigerians want to stop the slaughtering of these Christians. The people who don't care are CNN, which I think certainly tells you a whole lot about CNN and the interest in how they feel, their interest in how they feel about Christians. Let's see. I'm gonna copy this. I want to see how long is this video? Is this video short? Yeah, this video is pretty short. Okay, we can react to this one. All right, one last video for the day.
Guest has been to Nigeria.
We got this video here from Fox News. It says deadliest place for Christians. Former ambassador's major warning on Nigeria.
Our next guest has been to Nigeria in his former role as America's International Religious Freedom Ambassador. He's been sounding the alarm on this issue. Sam Brownback joins me now. And Sam, this has been a problem for quite some time. Now President Trump putting his money where his mouth is and striking. Your reaction?
Well, I'm really pleased about it. I think this is fantastic. It's what's needed. We need to tell these Islamists in Nigeria that we're going to act. We're going to take decisive action. We're not going to stop at this until this has stopped itself. Nigeria is the most deadly place on the planet to be a Christian. And it's got a very large Christian population. And you've got this jihadist movement that's trying to make a caliphate. This really just isn't about the Christians being attacked. It's really about not allowing a terrorist jihadist organization to take over a portion or all of that country and region and get a caliphate established. And we'll have a much bigger problem if that happens. So I'm glad.
Well, you know, that makes sense because ISIS is an avowed enemy of the United States of America. I think ISIS is a valid target for the United States to strike. You know, in the previous reaction, I was like, you know, I don't really know because, you know, this is more of like wading into international affairs. But I think about it, you know, this is ISIS, right? Vowed enemy of the United States of America. They've attacked Americans before. On top of that, he also, Sam Brown back here actually makes a good point where it's like if ISIS were to take over Nigeria, for example, that would be pretty bad for America. I mean, we see here they've got a coast there by the Atlantic Ocean. Giving ISIS access to a port would be horrible, right? So he actually makes a rather strong case for this strike.
Glad the president took such decisive action.
You know, Sam, I also saw that Mike Waltz, the U.S. ambassador to the UN, was praising this, talking about it. And it got me thinking, where has the UN been? The United Nations exists to resolve disputes just like this, and they seem to have been radio silent.
I think they're worse than radio silent. They're complicit with their silence. When they won't call out Islamic terrorism, and particularly in such a wide area of what's going on in that region called the Sahel, you've got Islamic jihadists working that entire area, and this is precisely something that the UN should be calling out and saying, this has got to stop. They've had 3 coups in that region already. You've got the Chinese and Russians messing around in the region as well, not in a constructive fashion whatsoever. And this could destabilize really the entire area, if not the entire African continent.
You know, Sam, it took literally a super celebrity like the rapper Nicki Minaj to go to the UN to try and shake trees to get them to pay attention. It's clear they didn't seem to remember that. But what do you make of the fact that Nicki Minaj, at the risk of great criticism, leaned into this, gave her platform and her celebrity to bring attention to it, and it has gotten a lot of attention, perhaps more so than it would have had Nicki Minaj not chosen to speak out?
Well, I don't say this lightly. I do think that Nicki Minaj is on a right-wing grift right now, and I think part of it also is like she probably is just seeing, the stories about Africans getting killed, African Christians getting killed, and it's like, well, that's not cool. You hate to see that. So I think that she's part of it is a bit of a political grift, but part of it I think is probably also a genuine interest in wanting to see more peace throughout the world, and her using the status that she's gotten now in positioning herself as a right winger to throw her weight around and be like, hey, I don't like war, maybe we can stop this conflict, hey, so it sounds like for better or worse, maybe she's grifting, maybe she's not, but she's found herself in this position where she has influence over the right, and now she's trying to use that for good to decrease world suffering, which I think is a net positive. I think it's a net positive.
Absolutely. Bill Maher has spoken out on it, not generally known as a Christian voice out there speaking out. You had 50 top athletes speaking out recently. Noticeably, a number of Nigerian athletes didn't because they're fearful of retribution against their families that are still in Nigeria. This is a terrible situation that's taking place in this region. And really, we've really got to push back against the Islamists again, these radical terrorist Islamists. They'll attack Christians for sure. They also will attack Muslims that don't agree with them and kill them as well. And I'm glad that the Nigerian government helped us on this. I just think we've got to really work long-term to put solutions in place where you can have the Christians in that country be safe and protected so that you can develop. The region's not going to develop further if you got all this sort of attacks and terrorist activities that are taking place.
Yeah, you point out a really important point, Sam, and that is that the Nigerian government is working with us. As you heard from our reporting, the Nigerian officials sharing intel with the U.S. where are these terrorists. Where do you see, and we also reported from Secretary of War Hegseth that more to come, he wrote on social media. Where do you see this heading?
Where I see it heading is really us getting to some sort of stable situation long term. And by that, I mean where Christians are not attacked. The first Trump administration, he pushed on the president then of Nigeria to respond to these attacks. They did. The attacks went down for a while, but it didn't change the structure. The structure maintained itself. And this is northwest Nigeria we're talking about. In the center area, you've got the Fulani radicalized pieces of the Fulani herdsmen that are attacking primarily Christians. in that region that's a longer-term problem. I just think we got to really get at this and provide localized protection that can be there year in, year out.
It's really interesting to talk to people about international affairs because we always will hear neocons being like, we need to put troops on the ground. We don't need to put troops on the ground. We could probably obliterate ISIS in Nigeria in like 1 or 2 days with a bunch of strikes if we wanted to. This was a courtesy call. This was like, hey guys, stop please. We could be a lot meaner to ISIS in Nigeria if we wanted to be.
And not dependent upon the United States or other outside.
But all of that to say, I don't think that we need troops on the ground because strikes are enough to do the job.
There year in, year out, and not dependent upon the United States or other outside forces coming in to protect them.
Well, in this show and Will Kane were among the first to really start raising attention on this issue. We will continue to follow it. Former Governor Sam Brownback, it's hard to not revert back to calling you Governor. Thank you, sir, for your insight as always.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey,
Sean Hannity there. Bye. But yeah, but this is good to see. I'm glad to see that Trump is coming to the defense of Christians in Nigeria, considering that Christians are my people. So we'll see how this unfolds. I think the best possible solution is that ISIS takes the warning to heart, they back off, and they stop attacking Christians. They might not, and if they don't, I do hope that Trump follows through on his threats and continues to strike them until they either stop or they're gone. Because ISIS is an enemy of the United States, first and foremost. Second most, I'm a Christian, they're my people. I'm always going to be like, it'd be nice to do things in favor of my people. So that's pretty much all I've got for today's stream. Thanks to each and every one of you guys who tuned in. I think in the chat, we only had one person in the chat today. That was the Angry Canadian. Thanks, Angry Canadian, for sending in your messages. They were quite interesting, as always. But also, we had some people pop in the Discord chat before the stream as well. We had DJ LL popping in. We had Flutters popping in, sending messages. That was a fun little burst of activity there. So check out the Discord server if you want to join the chat. Or not join the chat. If you want to, talk with me, you can send me messages. You can join the streams. Sometimes I'll have segments on where people can pop in if things get busy enough and people are like, yeah, I want to hop on the stream. You can do that. So, I do appreciate you guys for participating. Joining the Discord if you're interested in joining the Discord. dscrd.nwb.cc is the place you want to be if you want to chat with me. You got to influence the things that are on the streams by sending things into the React Requests channel. And we've got more Bro SMP coming up. Not sure if I'll be live next week. We will see. Some things might be changing with the streams. Stay tuned for updates as far as that goes. But for now, things should be normal. Doing the Minecraft streams on Sundays and then talk about politics if I have time to afterwards. But anyways, that's all I've got for you guys. Peace out, y'all.